Sound Art is a product that is a speaker and it's art. We combine it together and we call it Sound Art. What makes it so unique that any picture can be your speaker? Sound Art gives you the high quality sound without the ugly speaker. This isn't a picture with a speaker, the picture is the speaker. Just imagine your wedding picture uploaded onto a canvas and now it's speaking 10,000 tunes. I mean, it's a very cool concept. What we like so much about it that you can take anything that means something very special to you, upload it on the canvas, have it hanging up in your room, your balcony, wherever you want to put it, and now it's a speaker. I mean, how cool is that? It's something that we have that and no one has. No one has this product. It's just a great gift to give anybody. It's just a neat concept. Around here we say, art never sounded so good.
After months of quarantine, we're all interested in how we can become our best self. The team at Permanent Makeup and Cryo is here to help you get the flawless makeup look every day without the extra effort or time. When it comes to your appearance, you deserve the best care that money can buy.
Welcome, race fans, to Pit Stop TV. Trey Patton joins me on the mic this evening. We've got Trey Shuttlesworth on our social media coverage. My name is Andrew Cardinale IV, and this is Pit Stop TV's live coverage of the L-TAC Cup Series. Thank you for tuning in across our multiple platforms, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. I know there's tons of places you can watch some racing, especially this evening, but every evening when it comes to iRacing broadcasts, we thank you for doing so here with Pit Stop TV. Just a week after turning 180 laps amongst Wisconsin's finest cheeseheads, we head to Brooklyn, Michigan for a speedy trip around Michigan's pride and joy, the 2-mile Michigan International Speedway. We head into race number, what is it now? I think this is race 6 for these guys. It's been an amazing season so far. You go back to Daytona and Trey, these guys had a doozy of a season opener. Then we head to places like Atlanta, Richmond, and so on and so forth. Last week was Milwaukee. That's why I bring up the Cheesehead reference. And Milwaukee, definitely excited. You were on the call with Eric Brennan for that one. I was away down in sunny old Florida, but boy, it looked like it was a heck of a race.
Yeah, it was definitely a show. I mean, these guys, stage 1 was really good. They ran the entire stage green, and then obviously, as they say, cautions breed caution. So that stage caution kind of led that trend a little bit, but they kept it going and ended up having a really good finish there at the end. Joseph ended up, on the short end of the stick, that going for his win that he still hasn't captured yet, but I think if he keeps being consistent like we see right now in practice, he's top of the board. He's going to be a real threat this season. And look at that, a brand new paint scheme. Go ahead and talk about that a little bit.
It's not just any brand new paint scheme. It does have the Pit Stop TV colors. We're going to probably highlight that at some point throughout the evening. But if we go back to this camera, you can see there is the Pit Stop TV logo on the side. Very happy to be partnered with Joseph now. But yeah, he is atop the practice charts, but it's only practice. He's got a long ways to go. He's actually going to roll out here for a couple of laps. And let's do so with him because we have a lot to talk about here at Michigan. It might seem like just your bland old D-shaped 2-mile super speedway, as I might call it, but it's a bit interesting. You got very high banking on the front stretch, actually, relative to most racetracks. 12 degrees of banking on the front stretch, 18 degrees in the corners. So it's not a massive change from the front stretch to turns 1 and 2. But then when you come out of turn 2, suddenly that banking falls away, and it can lend itself to getting the car a bit loose, even a bit tight. It really depends on how the car is feeling. And of course, these guys running on custom Sousa Media setups. So really looking forward to seeing how these cars handle. I was able to take some laps with these drivers earlier on today, and the car feels great. I'm going to have to be honest. It feels really, really good. You can put the car almost anywhere and race really, really competitively with one another, and that's why the L-TAC Cup Series is doing exactly that, using those setups from Tucson Media to be able to bring us some really, really good racing. Now down the front stretch here with Joseph. Joseph off into turn one. You see, it's really not that much of a change here, Trey Patton, from the front stretch into the corners, but once you come out of turn two, that banking is going to fall away pretty quickly as he's behind Robert Pattengale, another car we want to talk a lot about, as that is the Tucson Sound Art machine. But yeah, Michigan, it seems very, very simple, but when it comes down to racing here, and especially racing one another here, it can be a bit tricky, and it absolutely will be for these guys. And of course, when you throw in the fuel strategy element, this place is almost wide open, if not completely wide open, for multiple laps. So when you start to have to save fuel in these stock cars, especially with the big wings on the back, it gets really challenging.
Yeah, it can definitely be challenging, especially, considering you used to see a lot of the people, in real life, they would run the bottom a lot, and what can get really tricky is, running the bottom, right on that yellow line, and especially coming out of the corners to that back stretch, how we talked about how the banking goes, to 5 degrees, so I mean, almost essentially, flat, so that can really upset the car, as you mentioned, coming out of the corner, but you don't really see a lot of guys running the bottom more so now. You see right there, I can't really remember who's in front right now in front of Dingler on the bottom, but Dingler into the wall, but you see they really run about a groove up on that seam. I wouldn't really expect to see a lot of guys running much lower than that.
No, I think we're going to see a lot of these guys run through the middle of the racetrack. You don't really want to go too far down or too far up the racetrack. You go too far down and some of that banking actually starts to kind of fall away. It gets a really, really icy down there on the very bottom side of the racetrack. And of course, if you get too close to the apron, you're going to have big problems if you get down on that yellow line. And if you go too far up the racetrack, honestly, like in the center of the corner, it feels like there's all the room in the world to race, and then you come out of the corner and everything falls away, and you're suddenly in that outside retaining wall. So you've got to be very, very careful if you do want to go up there and run that top side. We come into this evening, it's not the first race, so we have point standings to talk about, and boy, after 5 races, things very, very interesting. Holden McGill is just holding steady and has 55 points to Derek Rolleveld, Sonoma's winner. Then Joseph in third, just 1 point back a second. And then things get very, very interesting. If I have to fall a little further back to get to Taylor Butcher Benjamin, then Logan Hamilton. But once you get down to like Merrick Watchhorn, all the way down to our playoff cutoff, things are very tight. Only 20-30 points in that gap. It's very, very close, especially from the 10th position all the way through the 18th position, even the 19th position here in points. So a whole lot is changing week by week. The one thing you can count on somehow is the fact that Frank Flores keeps coming into these races in 11th position. Yeah, with
with Flores being able to, just be consistent and log these laps and get points, it's really been helping him out over the course of the season. You look back, Anthony Musatti, 15th, tied at the cutoff right now. He was actually one of our front runners last week and almost pulled a victory out of it. But if he can continue that momentum from last week and be consistent and get some stage points and get a good finish, he'll be able to jump up a few spots in the points. And as long as he keeps that going, he'll be probably in the top 10 here soon.
Masadi's been one to talk about since we unloaded at Daytona. Unfortunately, missed a couple of races here and there, so he's having to fight back from that 150-point deficit to Holden McGill, but I would expect that 49 to be one to watch the rest of the season as long as he stays active in the series. You've also got guys back there that are worth talking about like Jeremy Berger, Jack B. Ryan, Curtis Martin even could get up there into the top 10. He's a bit of a sleeper pick, honestly. Nate Brooker, he is in the top 10. How about that number 3, the Toyota Camry? Even Kevin Franks, Daytona race winner, he is still hanging in the top 10 despite being kind of up and down some weeks. He's meeting right in the middle, right where he needs to be, staying in playoff contention. And remember, a win does not lock you straight into the playoffs. You have to drive your way in over the course of the season. It's a 29 race season all told, so you've got to make sure you stay consistent.
Yeah, consistency is definitely key. I'll say that anyway. Even if it is a win and you're in thing, you want to capitalize on as many points as possible. I don't know if these guys do a regular season championship anyway, but I know a lot of leagues do. So definitely staying consistent anyway. I mean, just staying consistent is just something you want to do anyway, because that's just momentum that you can carry forward. And then if you get those extra bonus points, get those wins, it'll carry forth into the playoffs.
Well, of course, the big picture is the championship, but you're right. You want to just keep winning. You want to stay up in the front, and regardless of whatever the championship situation may be, you want to go out there. You want to finish first each week in and out. If you can go out there and win all 29 races, you're doing the best. So certainly, you want to stay consistent. You want to stay up in the front. We get ready for 100 laps here this evening. Practice wrapping up. We'll roll right into 5 minutes. 2 laps of qualifying time for these drivers. Got about 7 seconds left in practice as the checkered flag gets waved on the session. You see some of the virtual fans here at Michigan International Speedway. Very happy to have everybody joining us this evening. It's been one heck of a week, and we have one heck of a week coming up. A whole lot of broadcasts. Make sure you stay tuned on all of our social channels for updates about all of our broadcasts this weekend, next week. We have a lot of stuff coming for 2021. I think in general as a channel, we're staying busy most days of the week. I think all but one day of the week right now, maybe even 2 days, we're scheduled to have broadcasts. So that's at least 6 broadcasts a week that all of you guys can look forward to. Obviously, you can watch it live, you can watch on demand on our YouTube and Facebook channels, anywhere that you want to watch. We have racing for everybody to enjoy. Qualifying getting underway, and some of the first out on the racetrack looking like possibly Andrew Cootie down the backstretch already into turn number 3. And one thing that's important here, Trey Patton, he's running the top side. That's very important at a momentum track like Michigan. You want to get these motors spun up. You want to carry as much momentum as you can. And in fact, he's going to dip down here. I'm kind of surprised by that. I thought these guys might even run that second lap towards the top side. We'll see what he does here in 1 and 2. No, he's going to run the racing line. So Andrew Cootie, he got that run up, that extra bit of distance, of course, the wider distance through turns 3 and 4 to spool up the motor. Now he's going for it. He's on his racing line. I guess these guys might only get that one good lap on these tires.
Yeah, I was actually kind of surprised that we saw him go down to the bottom there, almost to the apron on the front stretch. You see him dip down to the bottom in 1 and 2, as he's going to go all the way down to the apron here to complete his first lap.
He does not go fast as Logan Hamilton does, and it's close up at the top, but separated by more than I thought we'd have. John Fallon now goes just 2/1000ths of a second quicker. We're going to have a lot of close times here, and possibly a really close finish if these guys aren't too careful.
Yeah, looking right now, I mean, just most of these guys only 1 lap. Kevin Franks, P3 right now. Joseph slots himself in second. So we're going to see what these guys can do for their second lap, see how much they can improve.
How about this guy, Grant Peterson, coming fresh off a race win, and a big race win for the driver of the 52 car. He was pretty, I'd say, worth talking about those first few races, but then just came out and ends up winning last week. How was that to see that big, massive move for the 52 car from just kind of being one to talk about to suddenly the guy to talk about and capturing that W?
Yeah, he was definitely the guy to beat last week. I mean, he was on rails. I was honestly really shocked. Jack Ryan all the way up to the top of the board. Good to see him back on the track this week. But yeah, I mean, the 52 last week was absolutely phenomenal. The move for the lead on the final lap, I thought Joseph was going to give him the bumper, and then we saw what happened in turn 4. Just got sent it a little bit too hard, caught the grass, and ended up wrecking himself, and I think finished like 10th or 11th. So heartbreak for Joseph there, but a great night for Grant Peterson, you know, as he's able to not lock himself in, but get him a really good points day to project him up into the points.
Now looking at Zach Arnold in the number 10. Might remember that he made the switch recently from AOD Racing to another team. I believe it's RCS Racing, thereabout, something along those lines. And he's now in a Chevrolet Camaro ZL1 1LE as opposed to the Ford Mustang. And we'll see how it treats him here this evening. First lap out, he goes 24th, which is the slowest time of all that have been turned so far. We'll see what he can do on his second lap. 1 minute and 20 left in qualifying. Zach Arnold, he got that win early on at Atlanta, and I thought he'd be one that we'd be wanting to talk about this evening as well, but no, he goes 18th quickest in practice. That's a big problem for the driver of the number 10. We now have 26 cars that have turned a time. Here's Anthony Masadi in the 49 car, and he's kind of weaving down the backstretch. That's interesting. That's scrubbing speed. That's what you don't want to do at all if you're trying to go out here and run a fast time. but he's got a pretty good looking line here through 3 and 4. It might still be okay.
Yeah, his first lap was a 40.6, so he's about 7/10 off of 26th place. That's Dylan Breton, so that right there, that's going to put him up to 14th.
Still not a fantastic time, I don't think, but it moves him way further up the grid than he was. This is Dylan Breton. You mentioned him in 26th at the time. Now he's 27th with the slowest time that's been turned so far. You see him there on the bottom of that ticker currently. He'll come across the start-finish line, and we'll see where the 17 goes on our grid. Several cars opting not to qualify this evening, but Dylan Breton will go. Oh, wow, he holds 27th. That's not a good time at all. That is, again, the slowest of the times that have been turned so far. He's got his work cut out for him.
Yeah, another driver that's got a lot of work cut out for him. I noticed we had 4 cars that didn't qualify, the first of which that didn't. Derek Rolleveld, which we saw what he did last week. He didn't qualify last week and ended up finishing in the top 5, so maybe he's trying to do a back-to-front challenge again.
We have cars taking to the starting grid this evening. The first of those going to be none other than Jack B. Ryan. Looked so good, if you recall, weeks back to Atlanta, the first big speedway race we had that wasn't Daytona. I would look for this 2 car to have a lot of speed this evening as well. Obviously, starting from the pole, he's got something going right. Logan Hamilton joins him on the front row of this evening's race. You go back to row number 2, we see Cody Meadows in the 46. That's a new name to me personally, but Joseph bringing things right back to the familiar. He will start from 4th position. Going to row number 3 on the inside, it's Brett Fisher in the 30. I saw he got collected in some tangos last week at Milwaukee. Barrick Uphold will join him on the outside of row number 3. Rolling back to row 4, you got Holden McGill, point leader, coming in with Kevin Franks to his outside. And starting 9th and 10th, Frank Flores and James Vining.
Starting 11th, we have John Fallon to his outside in 12th, TBB, Taylor Butcher Benjamin. Starting 13th, we have Andrew Cootie, and to his outside, Anthony Musati. 15th and 16th, we have Curtis Martin and Roy Grande. Starting 17th, we have last week's winner, Grant Peterson, and to his outside, Pit Stop TV's Noah Carmichael. And 19th and 20th, we have Sean Deal and Zach Arnold.
You flip back to row number 11. Colin Stone inside, Ryan Dingler outside. Starting from the 23rd position, though, is Merrick Watchorn in that 91. Watch out for Watchorn this evening. I'd expect that 91 to get up there before the day is over. Nate Brooker going to roll off from 24th, the lone Brit in the series. Starting from 25th, though, Jeremy Berger in the number 97 with Tucson Sound Arts, Robert Pattengale to his outside in row number 13. Rolling off the grid, 27th. It's the slowest qualifier this evening. Unfortunately, it is Dylan Breton. The first of the non-qualifiers is going to be Derek Rolleveld, rolling off 28th. He comes into this evening second in points. He's not going to roll off the grid that way, considering how far behind Joseph he is. Quite literally 24 positions. That is incredible just by not qualifying, but he's got a whole lot of time to make that up. Rolling off 29th, it's Richard Springer in the number 6 with Ryder Schrauf rolling off from 30th, and starting 31st this evening, Trey Patton, it's going to be Stefan Purcell in the number 57. 31 starters for 100 laps here at Michigan International Speedway.
Yeah, actually, I think this might be the biggest field that we've actually had here for L-TAC. If not, it's one of the bigger fields.
No, we had 43 when we unloaded at Daytona, and we didn't have too many fewer for Atlanta. I mean, we've had some big fields, but this is getting back up to where we want to see a field be.
Yeah, for sure. I enjoy having, bigger fields, especially when it comes to these cup races, just stock car races in general. You make a point, watch that 91 car. Last week, he really had an up and down week, or up and down night, because he was having some hardware issues. His wheel kept messing up. So hopefully he got that taken care of. So hopefully he can have a better night tonight and maybe salvage some points that he missed out on last week.
Watching on from the rear end of our L-TAC Cup Series iRacing pace truck down the backstretch. This is a view I like to be able to use on iRacing. It's something you see NASCAR and NBC and Fox do more recently, taking the shot from the back of the pace car. I think usually just for a picture on social media, but using this as the field is coming to the green flag is a real treat. I like being able to watch on from this angle. This is just really, really cool to use. And in fact, we have some other angles that we can use for the pace truck. This one looking forward, I'm trying to find one that looks back at the field, and I think this one should. It does. And you can see the bed of the truck as well to prove that it is the pace truck. You see the entire field getting lined up back there. Some of those guys still straggling on back trying to get caught up, but they will do so, and we will have 200 miles of very, very fast racing this evening. You see the pace truck now going to pull off, and the field will be left in the hands of none other than Jack B. Ryan, the driver of the number 2. He was so good at Atlanta, gonna have another chance at possible domination this evening. He's got an AOD Racing teammate behind, and we are green flag from Michigan International Speedway, race number 6 of the L-TAC Cup Series here in 2021, and it's AOD Racing teammates leading the field.
And you see AOD leading the field right now. Cody Meadows able to clear the 12 of Logan Hamilton. Brett Fisher still lined back and forth. They're going single file. You see a little bit of the cars fishing out down the back stretch. A little bit of double file, excuse me, going down there, making it down into turn 3. Still kind of spread out there. Excellent speed shot here into turn 3.
And you'll see the whole field come out of turn 4, and everybody mixing it up. It's not quite like Pocono, but it is darn close as they come around to complete lap 1.
Yeah, lap 1 very spread out a little bit. Jack B. Ryan still leading the pack there. You see Brett Fisher trying to go to the inside there of Logan Hamilton, making a run for 3rd, looking on the 21 of Holden McGill, running in 5th right now. You see Joseph right up in the mix, that pit stop TV machine, running that outside line. The inside line's going to get a really good run going into turn 3. Seeing this shot right here from Holden McGill to Brett Fisher is absolutely incredible.
We'll go to the gearbox then. Well, the rear bumper cover anyways of Brett Fisher's machine. You see everybody trying to get down to the bottom side here, apex of the front stretch. That's weird to say, the apex of the front stretch. But then everybody starts to go back up the racetrack, get an arc into the corner, and just this 2x2, even 3x3 racing throughout the field is what we get to look forward to this evening. Boy, is it cool to see. Joseph right here in the mix. You mentioned him a couple of times. Brett Fisher actually down to the bottom side of Cody Matthews as he get there to turn 3. He's going to look, and he's going to take, it looks like. But it's hard to run that bottom side because you run out of momentum down there. You're able to carry all of that momentum that you gain down the straightaways through the corners on the top side. You've got to make the pass early if you're going to do so on the bottom. Otherwise, you lose it on the run out of the corner. Jack B. Ryan still leading the way. Brett Fisher now 2nd place. And Cody Meadows, I said Matthews a couple of times, Cody Meadows there in 3rd.
Yeah, Brett Fisher actually looked like he was going to make a run for the lead there going into turn 1. Guess he thought better of it, or just Jack Ryan had a better run going into turn 2, so he's going to slot himself into 2nd. They're going to be side by side down the back stretch. On board with Barrick Uphold right now, slotting himself behind the 9 of Andrew Cootie. Really good shot here, seeing how they're double file throughout the field.
Now there's double file, 3 wide with Andrew Cootie on the top side. Let's go to his onboard. He is looking for the good out of turn number 4. He's all the way to the outside of Meadows. Meadows tried to block, and it was too late. 3 wide for 2nd place. Andrew Cootie just went from battling for 10th to battling for 2nd on the top side. How about the number 9 Meadows up the racetrack? Gets a bit tight. And wow, he's going to clear them for 2nd and get to the outside of our race leader down the backstretch. Andrew Cootie up to the top spot.
That was absolutely incredible. You know, we were talking about you want to make that pass on the outside early, and he did that all by himself. What an absolute power move by Andrew Cootie. Now he's battling for the lead.
He had it down the backstretch. Jack B. Ryan got it back at the bottom side of 3 and 4, and at the line, too close to call. I think timing and scoring is going to say Andrew Cootie, the 9 at the line. And on the bottom side, here comes Joseph in the 20 car. He's going to pass the 30 of Brett Fisher, and now goes side by side with Cody Meadows. These guys 3 wide for the back. You've got, is that the 23 of Flores at the racetrack? And in the fence, I think that was, and he's headed back. Oh, this is going to be a logjam.
Yeah, that's stacked up there. You see Ryan Dingler, Noah Carmichael up into the mix of that. On board with them now. Seeing the 52. There's the on board with Colin Stone. Seeing him come out of turn 4. Just a big gaggle of cars right there in front of him.
And you see there's so many cars in frame. So many updated graphics here at Michigan Speedway, or Michigan International Speedway as well. The frames are actually suffering a little bit down the front stretch. There's so much for iRacing to render because the entire field almost, I mean, Colin Stone is 23rd. this is incredible. He's in the same frame almost as the race leaders. Everybody's on top of one another. This feels like another super speedway, which is why I call these tracks a new super speedway. As oh my, we've got Jambalaya up in the front. Somebody went up the racetrack, and I think that was Holden McGill. Everybody saved it. I think 4 wide in front of him now, though. This is incredible stuff.
Yeah, you want to reference all those cars being in frame all the way back to Frank Flores now in 23rd. They're only separated by 2 seconds, which at a track like this, I expect, as we saw in NASCAR, years back, the leaders would really just kind of pull away. But as we're seeing here with this new package, it's almost like pack racing.
This is absolutely pack racing from 4th position on back. The top 3 have gotten separated now, but after that jumble in 3 and 4 a few laps ago, everybody from 4th position on back, side by side, even 3-4 wide a couple of times here, and they are getting things sorted out as best they can. You see the 3-car breakaway up there, and I mean, this is really feeling like an older Daytona or Talladega race where you get those few that can break away, and then everybody else is just one big pack trying to sort things out. Got a car blinking even up here as we have some issues with some connection. That was John Fallon and some more having a problem there, but everybody, you see them all 2-3 wide through the entire field. And you know what? Those guys that are broken away, they aren't so broken away anymore. Coming to complete lap 9 of 100 momentarily. Want to remind you guys we're racing to the completion of lap number 30 for stage number 1, and then we'll break things down. We'll award points to the top 10. We'll do it all over again.
You saw that gap back from John Fallon after that little blinking issue, and now he's right on the back bumper of Joseph. So that 3-car breakaway, as you said, not much of a breakaway anymore. We're going to see Joseph try to go to the bottom to the inside, of Jack B. Ryan, try to take second away. Andrew Cootie still holding on to that lead pretty comfortably right now.
And Jack B. Ryan, he's now fallen to 3rd. We'll see how things change to the backstretch. Racing for 2nd, so it's hard to say that he's into 3rd yet. We'll see exactly what happens in 3. But Jack B. Ryan, he's still having a great day, I'd say. Just be able to start back up here on the front of the field and get a few laps in, get a few laps led. It's a long race. You're not going to lead all 100 of these laps, especially with this current NASCAR Cup Series car package, but it's good to get up here and just lead some laps, stay up here in the front running, and see what you can do with things, especially knowing that this might come down to a fuel mileage race. You just got to put yourself in a good position. That said, he almost gets turned by John Fallon, sitting on the inside on lap 11. That was a bit aggressive, and that almost gave him the commentator curse. I might feel a bit like Eric Brennan after this one. I might just have to shut up because Eric Brennan's cursed a few guys in the Pacific GT3 Challenge Series. I almost cursed Jack B. Ryan on lap 11 of 100.
Yeah, that could have been really, really bad because just how close the field is right now. Him getting turned right there could have taken out, a good majority of the field, and that is not something we want to see on lap 12.
We are now on to lap 12, and Fallon, very similarly, up the racetrack in the center of 1 and 2. He's got to get off of that bottom side. That's 2 laps in a row that has happened to him. You cannot keep running the bottom. That's the other thing about running the bottom here at Michigan. It wears those tires out really, really tough, and especially the right front. It just gets harder and harder to hold speed down there. You've got to start working your way up the racetrack to carry momentum around this place, start working up those seams, and find a better line. You see John Fallon, he's gone from racing for about 3rd to racing for 8th. He's going to lose that position to where he'll be in 9th now. I mean, it happens that quickly when you've got everybody stacked up like this. Brett Fisher to the inside, making it 3 wide with Arnold Meadows.
Yeah, Brett Fisher having a really good night, staying up in the top 10. We don't really mention a lot of him being up in the top 10, so a really good night for that 30 machine.
You see a bit of a tandem there from Meadows and Arnold. Arnold, I think, used to be in just about that slot that Meadows is in with AOD Racing, where he was running the red, black, and white paint scheme for AOD, and now he's running for RCS Racing. You see him in the black and red, number 10. The whole field up on a turn, number 4. Oh my, that's a sound you like to hear. These cars rolling, rumbling down the front stretch here at Brooklyn, Michigan. And we haven't talked about the weather yet this evening, but it is a nice, fair day. Track temp pretty warm. This is set in August as a caution comes out, so that's why we have the track temp climbing. And, I'm not sure that we're going to have a replay on this one. We'll check it out, though. We'll check out what's going on at the back of the field. And I think we just might have a replay here, but it's going to be hard to find. I know it's going to happen. Oh, it's going to happen with Sean Deal. We see kind of the back end of it there, but it happens somewhere around this 44 car of Sean Deal. Let's take one more look back here and see if we can't find out what happens. Oh, it's going to happen with Dylan Breton. Remember how we were talking about how far back he's starting and that he has his work cut out for him here, Trey Patton? It's going to involve none other than 17, and you know what? Dylan just turned left across Sean Deal's nose.
Oh, man, that was a hard hit for him, too. Nose first straight into the outside wall.
Of course, we'll get another look back at things. Breton had to check up really hard in 3 and 4, and that's why he ends up alongside of Sean Deal. You see the 3 wide up ahead. That's why he was checking up. These guys were really vying for things midfield. You see Cullen Stone that we were talking about at one point, Jeremy Berger, Grant Peterson. I mean, that's how stacked this field is and how things are changing. And yeah, Breton just turns in for 1 and Deal's there, and then into the wall hard, and then he kind of de-renders for us. But the Floridian not having a good start coming up here. Not quite to the Great White North, but darn near here in Michigan State. And big problems for the Adrenaline Shock number 17. Not what you want to have happen if you're just trying to get settled in and you work your way back up from a poor starting position. Up at the front, though, everybody coming in for tires.
Oh, I don't blame these guys one bit for coming in for tires. They were racing really, really hard. I mean, you just saw how aggressive everybody was.
Oh, no!
Oh!
Andrew Cootie, I think, just barely escapes getting punted by our number 20 of Joseph. But, boy, that is why you need a countdown coming into your pit box, because that was very close. Now, I'm noticing these guys are not taking tires. They're fuel only. They are making sure they are good to the end of stage number 1. Not a bad play here. I do think they might have been just short or very close to the mark here for stage 1 if they had stayed out. So very smart from the entire field. Save that set of tires, but come in, get the fuel, and make sure you're good to go to the end.
Yeah, from what I'm seeing here on timing and scoring, looks like Brett Fisher took tires, Barrick Uphold took tires, and I think Holden McGill may have taken 2 tires.
I want to go on board here with Joseph. This is what happens coming into their pit stalls, and Cootie is going to realize pretty late that he's got to turn left to get into his box right about here. And yeah, he just kind of stops right there on Joseph's nose. I think, thankfully, there was no damage done to the front end of the number 20 Chevrolet, but boy, that was close.
Yeah, that could have been really bad for Joseph and Andrew there. Whew, God, that's something you don't want to happen as a driver, and seeing that out of your windshield is definitely scary.
Yeah, it absolutely is. We were on this camera right here with Andrew Cootie when that happened, too. That was, man, we almost got a face full of number 20 Chevrolet. That could be mad for both, because if Cootie had gotten turned, not only does that damage Joseph's nose and make his car almost just a parachute in the draft, but it would have likely put Andrew Cootie head on into that pit wall and done some big damage to the front end of the number 9 as well. And that really could have hurt a couple of really good race cars so far this evening. We've been talking about the 9 and the 20 in most sentences so far when we're talking about the race leaders. Jack B. Ryan making up the rest of those. Bit of a jumble there with Zach Arnold and Logan Hamilton, it looked like. They get it sorted out, and I think they are, I guess they're good. They must have mixed up in where they were lining up.
Yeah, getting mixed up on the grid, I mean, it's not that hard to do. I mean, especially on a track like this, you know, you don't really expect to get the grid really jumbled up. This is more something you kind of see on a short track, but it definitely can happen, but thankfully we were able to get that going as we're about to go green.
So ready to go back green flag racing for what will be a very short run to the end of stage number 1, but it'll honestly likely feel like a bit of a marathon here, Trey Patton. Of course, we just had a little over 10 laps to go, or well, 10 laps run, not quite 15, I don't think, when we had this yellow flag, and we have just over 10 to go. We'll be coming to 13 to go at the line right here, so about the same length, I'd say, and that felt both short but also quite long because there was a lot going on, and I wonder how these drivers are feeling after that little run and having to replicate the exact same thing here to go to the end of stage number 1. We'll take our static shot here at the flag stand. You see the green flag now being waved, and we are off and away once more. We are green flag racing once again from Michigan.
Green flag back out into the air. Going to be side by side going to turn 1. Jack B. Ryan on the outside. Looks like he's just slightly ahead. You're going to see Andrew Cootie go down the track just a little bit, clip that yellow line. They're going to be side by side. Joseph going to be pushing him down the back straightaway. Outside line looks to be having a run going into turn number 3.
That bottom side is really good on restarts, but you got to be very careful with it. Andrew Cootie, oh my, what a save out of the number 9. He was dead sideways pulling into 3, and you would never know it by his exit up out of the corner. Ryan to the inside, Jack B. Ryan going to have the race lead at the line with help from Joseph. Here comes the 46 car of Cody Meadows. And it's just the same few players up at the front. They're going to be battling, I'd imagine, to the end of stage 1. Oh my, Joseph. Play nice here with the number 2 car, and they are mixing it up. Oh, Andrew Cody in the wall hard. Oh, more contact. This is going to be a big one.
Oh, looks
oh
like
my
they singled
gosh.
that out hard into the inside wall. That's going to bring out the yellow.
We watched that live for Andrew Cootie. That was a big hit. It's not going to look like, it's not going to feel like it on iRacing, but the damage that is going to be done to the motor, trust us here on this one, the motor damage to this car is going to be significant, and that's what's going to catch the driver of the number 9 out, is all the damage is going to be done to that car at speed. It's going to be okay. Handling, I think, there might be some handling damage, but I really think it's all going to be at speed, of course. You'll know by being able to put your clutch in, and you'll actually see where the car idles, and based on that, usually these cars idle at 2,000 RPM, as you'll know, Trey. If they idle anywhere below that, you've got engine damage, and it's really going to hurt you in a straight line. Let's see what happens here initially. I think Ryan's just coming up to clear himself to the top side, and Cootie's there, a little bit of contact, puts Cootie in the wall hard, and I mean, that's just racing. I think maybe you can give and take a little more here on lap, 18? But, I mean, that's just unfortunately part of racing sometimes.
Yeah, unfortunately, just being caught on the short end of the stick there for Andrew Cootie. I mean, obviously, we saw he was definitely there. Jack B. Ryan just came up, thought he was cleared. Not quite clear, and just got put into the wall, and you saw that hard hit to the rear end, down on the inside wall, and then ended up hitting the front end, having some engine damage.
We'll take this wide shot here from our blimp high above the racetrack to see what happens to the rest of the field. And you'll see that happen up ahead with the 2 and the 9. Make a little bit of contact, puts Cootie hard into the wall. Ryan saves it, but then there's contact with Meadows and Benjamin, and they actually save things. That's impressive that they keep going, and I think even Meadows gets away without any further skirmish. A little bit of a checkup there. You see Noah Carmichael on the very bottom side of the brown and blue machine, and the 6 of Springer back there, but thankfully everybody kept things together afterwards. No harm, no foul for everybody else, just that really hard impact for the number 9 of Andrew Cootie, and boy, that's really going to impact the rest of his day.
Yeah, definitely going to impact the rest of his day. I've noticed just every time we see Andrew Cootie up front, seems to be doing well, and then he just gets caught up in an incident like that. So definitely a tough break for Andrew Cootie. He definitely shows speed. He's there. He's competitive. He just gets caught up on the short end of the stick.
He's got a clean car out there. I do believe these guys keep their one fast fix, their one fast repair for the entire field. So he does have a clean car back on the racetrack. What do you say we stoke the flames here a little bit? Let's dial him up and let's see how he feels about that. I'm sure it's going to be some strong feelings, but let's dial him up and see how he feels. And Andrew Cootie, you got a copy?
Yep, yes, sir.
Well, of course, this might be stoking the flames a little bit, but we just saw what happened out of turn 2. What's your side?
Well, from what I saw was the 2 slide up and put me in the wall. A couple laps prior, or I think it was actually the lap prior, we door slammed and I saved it. But he cut down way too early, in my opinion. I might have just went straight and hit his door. I don't know, but all I saw was him come up, and I kept my foot in it. I was as he hit me, I started slowing down, but he just kept going and completely killed me. So
we saw the slide into 3, and it was an amazing save, great piece of wheel work. But of course, you guys are going for the same place. Unfortunately, you make that contact. How do you avoid that here on lap 18 or so? I mean, you guys are all racing. You're going for stage points.
Yeah, I mean, I was talking with my team, and I was just focused on getting to the end, being there at the end. But I mean, I got fresh tires, and I made that hell of a move off the start, around the top, so I might look at doing something like that again. Go for the stage win. I got fresh tires. I mean, why not? If I get wrecked, I get wrecked. But I mean, there's nothing really you can do. I'm gonna try and keep it clean though.
That was a great drive on the top side. We caught that as well. We'll get you back down there with the rest of your guys. Best of luck to you. I'm sure we'll dial you up again.
All right, thanks guys.
That's Andrew Cootie in the number 9. He had a great drive earlier on. You can't deny that. And he's already led some laps this evening, looking to lead a few more. Coming to our restart here, it's lap 22, coming to 23 of 100. Gonna shorten things up here to the end of the stage, Trey Patton, but you know what? Look who's in third place, and none other than Merrick Watchhorn. Told you to watch out for him. He's already up into the top 3, racing for a podium spot here at the end of stage number 1. We'll go on board with him for this restart. You see Joseph fires off nice and early, going to get Jack B. Ryan cleared, and he'll move down into second place nicely between these two Chevrolets, and they'll race off into turn 1.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised once we get up to speed here. We're going to see Merrick Watchhorn maybe dive down to the bottom, make a little bit, maybe some overly aggressive moves trying to get up to the front, because we saw him last week. He was one of the few people that were diving down to the inside. You're going to see it there, going down the backstretch. He was able to get that draft off of Jack B. Ryan. He's going to claim second and try to go for Joseph here.
You see the number 20 with the Pit Stop TV colors down the side. Race pace setups on the back. Tucson Sound Art on the quarter panel, leading the field right now. That's why we contacted Joseph about running our colors. But Merrick Watchhorn trying to upset him up at the front, down to the bottom, trying to get that apex on the front stretch. It sounds a bit weird to say, but it really makes sense once you look at how these guys race it. He's still looking to the inside. And what's important to do when you get these draft races around these intermediate and super speedway tracks that are not Daytona or Talladega is you want to stick your nose to the inside of the car ahead. You want to keep clean air on the left front particularly to help the car turn, and that's what Watchhorn is doing. He's keeping that car staggered out. It's going to help get front downforce in the left front of that car and help it turn.
Yeah, he's definitely one of the best of getting his car positioned right to get the clean air on the nose of that machine. We've seen it week in and week out. He's one of the guys that you want to watch. You see him go to the outside of Joseph here. They're going to be side by side in turn 1 and 2.
And Watchhorn's going to make it look very easy. Got just enough of a run into 1, went to the outside, and he's now the race leader. He's going to clear Joseph before they get to turn 3. Let's take a look at the battle further back for the last few stage points. Jeremy Berger in the midst of this. How about that? Up into the top 10 is the driver of the 97. The current 10th place driver is John Fallon. You're watching him in the 16 right here. You see that 3 wide up ahead. Anything can still happen here for the final few stage points.
See Taylor Butcher Benjamin being pushed by Brett Fisher there. That is the 11th spot, so they're racing to try to get up past John Fallon for that last stage point. But as you said, with all this action, 3 wide almost right there with Brett Fisher. They 3 wide up in front there. Jeremy Berger on the bottom side.
Oh, and Booker's in the wall hard. He's going to come down, collect Kevin Franks. Oh, and I think that's the 46. Oh, no, Nate Brooker. More involved. Oh, and they're still piling in. Sean Deal, Logan Hamilton. Oh my gosh, guys. Massive accident down the backstretch here at Michigan.
Oh, man, that's definitely not what you want to see. Sean Deal having a rough deal in points right now and getting involved in that. It looked like Robert Pattingill, I don't know if he got through that or not. I saw he was in frame there, but here's the replay of the 3 of Nate Brooker, so we're going to see what happened.
He's just going to catch the wall down the straightaway, unfortunately. He catches it there, and he just took out a little too much wheel, a little bit too early. Oh my gosh, body slams the 98, then hooks the 46 at the last second. Sean Deal, man, turn left! Cut the wheel, buddy! Oh my gosh.
Looks like Robert Pattingill was able to slow down enough for that, so looks like this will be the end of stage number 1. It'll end under caution, excuse me. But
this will get us really close. I'm not so sure that it's going to end the stage, but this is the onboard of Sean Deal. You see, he's in behind the 333. He's kind of blinking here, and then there's smoke. And he was still moving a ton. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, he was going at a high rate of speed. We're going to see some cars coming down pit road. We're going to see if any cars would like to stay out. Doesn't look like anybody's going to stay out here from what I can see.
trying to see what happens here for Robert Pattengale. I think we'll get him here at the end of the incident and hopefully get to see what happens for him. Maybe, possibly not. Looks like we're not. Well, he does stay back of it. You can see him there. He's that white, blue, and green car. He is going to stay out of it. So thankfully, the Tucson Sound Art machine of Robert Pattengale himself going to stay clean in this one. And we'll keep racing to see another lap. You mentioned pit stops up front. And it looks like Jeremy Berger will be our new race leader by virtue of... No, I think everybody pitted up front. And it's hard to say if we get back green flag racing for one lap or not. We should be coming around to take... Oh, it's hard to say if we get 1 to green or 2 to green. We might be restarting on lap 31. So if that's the case, this will likely be our stage finish. And usually, yes, it has been called. So you're right there. And Race Control does a great job of providing us with our stage 1 finishing orders, so we'll read that out to you now since it's changed on the ticker. Merrick Watchorn going to steal that stage win from Joseph Joseph and Jack B. Ryan. Zach Arnold takes 4th. Derek Rolleveld in 5th. The Jeremy Berger, our new race leader, in 6th. Kevin Franks 7th and John Fallon 8th. Nate Brooker 9th. So it's going back to the time of caution, it looks like, or possibly the previous completed lap. And then Cody Meadows in 10th. So hey, that's big for Nate Brooker with that wreck to still get those couple of points. It doesn't sound like a whole lot, but being inside the top 10, he's going to lose a lot otherwise, so to get those couple of stage points and add to his total is really going to help him.
Yeah, actually looking here from Race Control, looks like actually Merrick Watchorn won stage number 1.
Yeah, that's what we read out. Yeah, we get those results provided by Nolan up in Race Control. So again, it's the 97 to Watchorn winning the stage, then Joseph, Ryan, Arnold, Rolleveld, Berger, Franks, Fallon, Brooker, and Meadows once again. So Jeremy Berger, though, he gets the lead out of the pit lane, and he will lead us to the green flag momentarily. So we're actually, interestingly, and we'll see if Race Control changes the call. I think we'll keep it, considering it's already been handed down from Race Control, but we are going to go back green flag racing, oddly enough, on what would be the final lap of stage 1. Obviously, if we get a caution going into lap 31, we'll know. Otherwise, we know that they are keeping it as is. So, Jeremy Berger actually going to elect for the top line. That's going to put Barrick Uphold down to the bottom, Joseph 3rd, and Merrick Watchorn in 4th, and the rest will line up behind. Again, we'll see exactly how they treat this restart, considering we are going green on the final lap of what would have been stage number 1. Otherwise, we'll just start stage number 2, and these guys get an extra lap of stage number 2 racing. And we'll see how it all sorts out. Again, they might be close to making it or not on fuel for a 30-lap stage. Of course, they run 50-lap fuel fills here in the L-TAC Cup Series, along with the Bluegrass iRacing Series that we cover on Wednesdays. We are going to go back green flag racing this time, coming to lap 30 of 100. Berger, the race leader. Then it's Uphold on the bottom side. Almost said Watchorn. Watchorn's on the outside of row 2, and already Joseph. Man, Uphold got a bad restart down to the bottom side, and Joseph's trying to look for a way by.
Yeah, looking here, the guys to watch right now, Merrick Watchorn, Joseph, and Derek Rolleveld, they actually took 4 tires on that stop. Jeremy Berger and most of the field up front did not.
So down the back stretch, 1 car down to the bottom, another big crash. Oh my, guys, we got 1 car over. Oh, gosh. 2 cars over. Schrauf was over, I know that. I'm not sure who the other one was. Oh my. There's Ryder Schrauf, sporting our logo, but just rolling back over. His left front's not rolling at all. Oh my.
That was I say incredible, but like, seeing those cars go into the air like that was insane.
We'll see what happens from Schrauf's point of view. I don't think he's the start of this, but we'll see it all unfold up ahead of him. He's got Meadows to his outside. He gets up to the top side, and we'll just start seeing smoke. Yeah, somebody gets turned way up ahead. It's hard to say. Oh, that might have been... Oh, my, that might have been Frank Flores. And that time, you know what? I'll give Ryder the benefit of the doubt, because suddenly Flores was just sideways in front of him. But I think that may have started with the 23. Let's take a look back and try and diagnose this further. And I will also say we've not been updated with any different stage results, so I will say that the initial results are official. Dangler gets caught up. Noah Carmichael as well. Oh my gosh, Noah Carmichael gets a huge piece of things. That was Flores barrel rolling as well. Oh boy.
And it was, what, 2 cars that went up and over in that? I mean, you saw him, he got launched into the air. I mean, that's not something you really see a lot, but something you can see here on iRacing. We're going to get another view of that watching Noah Carmichael here from afar.
He's that brown and bright blue car in the middle. He gets Flores there, and oh my gosh, big hits, and just keeps getting collected after the fact as well. So the car is de-rendering there, but oh my, you get the picture.
You know, if there's one guy that's lucky to get away from that, that's the 8 of Ryan Dingler. He got, he was a little bit caught up in that, but looking at his car now, he seems to have no damage for almost being caught up in that.
So a bit of a damper put on our pretty clean start initially here at the Michigan International Speedway. Of course, we know now the results of stage number 1. Our current race leader, Merrick Watchorn, was the stage winner. Let's see if we can't dial him up from RCS Racing, now teamed up with Zach Arnold, even in that number 10, and Trey Patton will hand him your way.
You got Merrick Watchorn. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Well, Stage 1 had a little bit of a weird end to it. We weren't quite sure what the results were. Then we got word that you were the winner of stage number 1. So coming off of last week with the hardware issues, how do you feel going into tonight? Obviously you won stage number 1, so just kind of talk us through that and tell us how you're feeling.
Car feels good. We're doing pretty well up here with this Twiggy car. Hopefully we can get it to the victory lane. I saw early on that people are going to really push it hard. They're early on with the first couple of laps, and then decided just to stay patient and work my way through the field. And then with literally 5 to go, I decided to go for it, and I had my teammates right behind me, so we just pushed our way up to the front and made the big move to take the lead. And I was not expecting to win the stage, but it was a very good lifting, way off those shoulders, because I've just not been doing so hot the last couple of weeks, and it's kind of nice getting a stage win at this point.
Yeah, definitely. Just after last week not being able to capitalize on some points, and then having a stage win this week, having your teammates behind you to be able to push you to get up to the front right there shows teamwork does make the dream work. So, hopefully you can get paired up with your teammates further on in the race and maybe lead you to a stage 2 win and maybe a race win.
I'm hoping. If I can sweep it like I almost did at Richmond, that'll be quite an achievement and pretty cool, man.
So before we let you go back down there, you have the floor. Anybody you want to shout out before we go back green?
So I want to shout out to my teammates, my family, my loved ones, and just hoping everyone's okay in Texas and staying warm and safe out there.
Yes, we definitely want to keep the people in Texas in our thoughts, but we're going to take you down, and I'm sure we'll be talking to you soon.
Roger that. Thank you.
All right, that's stage 1 winner Merrick Watchorn, and we're about to go green, Andrew.
Lap 33 coming to lap 34. Watchorn is the race leader. Then it's Berger down on the bottom side. Then you got Joseph there in third. And Bear Uphold lining up fourth. And Rollefeld, Fisher, Cootie, Franks, Fallon, and Springer making it to the top 10. Watchorn rolls off and away. You see Berger get up behind him immediately. You want to immediately share that draft and get that extra bit of performance you can get by reducing the air resistance on the nose of your car. A few Chevys up front. They will roll off and away. In fact, the first Ford is for 4th place. We actually have 3 of them battling for 4th, 5th, and 6th. They're rolling off and away, and let's hope things stay a bit greener this time.
Yeah, definitely just touching up how we watched Berger go up straight to the outside on that restart. The draft here is your best friend, especially on tracks like Auto Club or just like the intermediate tracks, especially with this aero package. The draft, it's, as we mentioned before, pack racing. So you're going to see these cars kind of single file out here. They're all going to go single file-ish going down the front straightaway. Merrick Watchorn still leading over Joseph right now. A little bit too wide there going into turn number 2. You see Merrick Uphold trying to make a run on the 20 of Joseph.
love having these really wide shots as these guys race here at Michigan. Really gives a good image as to everything that's going on, first on back, even through 20th, 30th back there even. So really gives a great picture as to what's going on in these restarts. Now coming back across the line to complete lap 35, and the race is on from about third on back even, as 2x2 are a couple of forwards for third place. Berger's been absorbed by this battle. Here comes Cootie back into things, and really is just jockeying for every position they can get. So while they do so, I want to remind everybody that these broadcasts are always brought to you by some wonderful, wonderful people. One of those being a big, big partner of the L-TAC Cup Series, of course, Tucson Sound Art. Your picture, your music. Use a promo code PitStopTV at checkout for 10% off of your wall-mounted sound art device today. Again, you can go to TucsonSoundArt.com and use code PitStopTV for a 10% discount. Of course, these are also brought to you by Race Pace. Pick up pace with Race Pace, a community-driven setup shop and driver development program. Now racing on to lap 37 of 100. We're a little ways past a third of the way into things, and almost in contact there for fifth as Cootie up the racetrack a little bit towards Jeremy Berger. Trey, we've seen a lot of racing so far. We also haven't seen quite as much as we wanted to see. Had a couple of big yellow flags that have halted our progress a little bit. We're back underway here, and this is the same old, same old. I think this is what we'll see all night long. We might see field mileage string these guys out a little bit in stage 3, but otherwise, I don't know that we're really going to see any let-up from this pack racing.
Yeah, I don't really know. Pack racing is, you can't really predict what's going to happen, but I can tell you something I like to see right now. That number 6 Valvoline machine, Richard Springer up into the top 10. Anybody, repping the Mark Martin, any Mark Martin scheme, you're going to have my vote right there, but definitely good to see Richard Springer up into the top 10. You don't really see a lot of him right now. We don't talk of him much, but up here, making his way into the top 5 right now, so doing really good for him right now.
Through turns 3 and 4, and now down the front stretch, they will go behind the grandstands there, but Watchorn brings the field down to the bottom side of the racetrack, onto the apron even. Uphold goes with them. Now Uphold maybe looking for a way by. Joseph into third. He was on the bottom side of 1 and 2 the last time through, and now on the top side. Oh, Uphold up the racetrack. Just got out of shape. Might have been given the boot by Derek Rolleveld. Thankfully, they all save it. But what that could have been for all these guys racing inside the meat and potatoes to the top 10, they get it sorted out for now, coming to lap 40 momentarily.
I can't tell you how much I tensed up in my chair right there. I thought we were going to have another wreck, but...
Oh, we might hear Joseph!
Man, we really need to watch our wording.
Oh my, that was close. And you know what? Getting to turn some laps with these guys earlier today, that's a lot of what happens. You just get these guys that are pushing the little bit up out of the corner. They end up making the slightest bit of contact sometimes, and it's really hard not to get into one another. I mean, it's a game of inches at 200 miles an hour. Let's go on board for a lap or so and see just how fast these guys are going. Pull up the telemetry here, and we're hitting almost 190 into 3. We'll see what the speed is into 1. But, boy, these guys are really moving. It's not so fast as the days prior to this package where we'd see them going off into turn 1 at 212 and above, but still moving pretty quickly.
Yeah, I definitely miss those days. Just a lot of horsepower in the package was really into the hands of the driver, but you see they're going into turn 1. He was going about 186, 190-ish, and then getting out of turn 2, going about 180. Looking on back of Merrick Watchorn to, I believe that's the 99 Derek Rolleveld.
Yeah, and that was 191 into the corner you saw on the graphic at the bottom right. And there is a bit of a delay between our telemetry graphic and the real-time graphic, or I guess the real-time speed and telemetry that these guys are seeing. But up in the front, where Watchorn can just lay in the throttle, he's a little bit faster, even though he's the race leader bearing the full brunt of that air. And actually, let's go on board with Rolleveld and see what he's getting in the draft. Even Cootie, actually, since he's a little further back, where he's able to really work this draft and stay in it into the corner. Already up over 180 up out of the corner. We'll see what it is into 3. It's 192, 190, almost touch a 193. I mean, these guys are moving. Again, not as fast as they used to go, but still pretty quick. Almost 200 miles an hour. And when you've got almost 30 of these guys still out there at 200 miles an hour, boy, things happen quick.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I mean, just like they say, anything can happen in racing in a blink of an eye, and especially going 200 miles an hour at a track like Michigan, or even just at Daytona or Talladega, or just any really track where you can carry that kind of speed. We got a car slow on the bottom. Not quite sure who that was, but
it's a lapped car coming back on the racetrack after an incident. Looks like that might have been Frank Flores, and it is Frank Flores down on the bottom side. So nothing to worry about there. Frank Flores out of the plains. He's been holding steady in 11th most of the season so far, but I'm not so sure that's going to remain steady after this one. I mean, he hasn't even gotten up onto the racetrack yet. That car is hurting, and hopefully he gets back in the race, but it's not looking so great for his case momentarily. But the front, things holding steady. Watchorn and Rolleveld starting to pull away from Cootie and the rest, and that's where things get interesting. Look for the back. Side-by-side racing, Fallon on the bottom side, and Uphold up top. Joseph there with them as well, and things starting to spread out a little bit. I like this.
Yeah, just looking through the field, I mentioned Derek Rolleveld was actually, I think, the first car that didn't have a qualifying lap. So, kind of doing what he did last week. Started 28th, and now he's up to 2nd. So, doing really good for him there. On board with Stefan Purcell, currently sitting
in 13th.
I believe Ryan Dingler there in front of him. You see a little bit of damage from that incident that he almost was caught up in. Got right hooked there a little bit. Almost some contact there with the 21 of Holden McGill, our points leader.
Not a lot from Holden so far today, being very, very quiet so far, but a bit loud right there as he makes that pass. He was up towards the front earlier on. I think he might have been collected in one of those incidents so far. So the man from just southeast, I believe, of Charlotte, North Carolina, trying to get back into this one. He's currently now into 13th after passing Stefan Purcell. He's working on Ryan Dingler. It was a big slider he threw on Purcell the last time by where he almost got into Dingler, but I think this time he's got a much better position to take that spot away. He will do so into 1 and move himself 1 position closer to a top 10 and a stage point at the end of stage number 2. We've got 15 to go from the last time by the start-finish line. We'll come to 14 to go this time. And, boy, things really getting spread out. This is what we want to see from a place like Michigan International Speedway. We want to see these guys be able to race, get into a groove, even just for 30 laps, and be able to spread out a little bit, have those pocketed battles around the racetrack, and have to work at one another. Because the pack racing is nice and fun and exciting and everything, but, boy, it can go wrong in a hurry.
Oh, absolutely. Anything can go wrong, especially at a track like Michigan, or just even in racing in general. You mentioned the slide job being pulled there from Holden McGill. And just watching further on back through the field, and with these wide shots that Whiplash Media has provided with us, it kind of reminds me of, like a dirt race, because you kind of see some of these guys getting a run into the corner, and you're not quite sure if he's going to get it or not. And these wide pan shots, when they're side by side, you think the outside line's going to get it, but they don't. Just, from covering BRP and stuff, it's really kind of got my attention set on it, and it's really got me intrigued and focused and just really watching these battles.
Some battles sparking up around the 14th position. In fact, one involving none other than Noah Carmichael as Flores laps around the apron of the racetrack. Here is Carmichael in the 03 machine. The O very small on that number 03 car. And let's see, is that Stefan Purcell? He's gone on by. It is. And Curtis Martin in here as well. Curtis Martin in a very interesting paint scheme, to say the least. You can see this very interesting pattern on the 04 out of Canada. But, hey, he's one of the few Toyotas in the field, so we can't wrap on him too hard here. It is good to see more of those TRD machines, the Camrys, in the field than some other groups. I mean, it's a really underrepresented car, I feel like, on iRacing. For some reason, it just never really caught on with too many. Usually, one thing I've noticed is you see guys like, Noah Carmichael and Ryan Dingler make contact. That was good stuff out of a guy that usually talks in these Pit Stop TV broadcasts. That was good driving out of Noah Carmichael. He's going to try it again here on Ryan Dingler. Gets very close, then pulls down a little bit lower. He's going to try a big move to the inside, and he's working the very bottom of the racetrack. Going to roast the tires a little bit, but he's going to come out of the corner. Man, he's really restricting his exit, and that's hurting him down these straightaways.
Yeah, I didn't think he'd go that far down to the bottom. They're going to be 3 wide, it looks like, almost. 3 wide going into turn number 1. Noah in the middle. Hopefully he doesn't wash up the track a little bit. Curtis Martin with a heck of a run, able to pass both of those guys into turn 1.
You see Logan Hamilton towards the back end of this little group. Zach Arnold mixed in there. Taylor Butcher Benjamin in the one car as well. Carmichael gets by Dingler. Now he's working on Martin once more. He'd already gotten by the 04. He's going to go down to the bottom side and do it again. He'll momentarily clear Martin, but he's not going to hold the spot up out of the corner. Side by side once more down the front stretch and working that bottom side. You know, again, it can pay off if you can complete the pass early, but if you can't do it within the first 50% of the corner or so, you're going to have a really rough time down the straightaway. Now Arnold to the bottom side of Carmichael, and Noah's searching for grip.
Yeah, that bottom, you know, you would think the bottom would have a lot more grip, but definitely you're seeing that top side pay a lot of dividends right now, especially in turn 3 and 4. I'm surprised we don't see most of the field, or a lot more of the field, running up on the top side in 3 and 4. You see a couple cars dip up to the top. Looks like Dingler's going to run right to the bottom. Looks like he's actually coming to pit road.
Maybe? He's very slow. Yeah, we have pit stops right here. We don't have a caution. These are pit... Oh, my. That was the 18 of Roy Grande. A Grande slide into the corner. I forget who it was, but someone wanted me to say that in the broadcast tonight. Brett Fisher comes in, Ryan Dingler, Grande. You also saw Stefan Purcell come into the pit lane. So pit stops early. Up front, I think it's mostly the same. No, we've lost. It looks like Uphold and Watch Run. While we were watching all that, we missed pit stop starting. How about that? But we'll watch out for these guys to pit some more. So I said it was going to be close here on these 30-lap stages. It's so close that they're pitting. So I guess it's really not that close at all. Rolleveld now the race leader. We're going to try and find... This is Watchhorn coming out of the pit lane. Oh, they all came in together right there. So Watchhorn now exiting the pit lane. Uphold down here as well. He must have pitted... Yeah, he pitted a couple of laps prior. So I think Uphold might have started all of this.
Well, if it's anything like last week, we saw Grant Peterson kind of do the undercut on pit strategy, and it worked out very, very well for him as he was able to get that track position and find himself up front again. So maybe Uphold trying to maybe take one out of Grant's book there and see if he can make it work for him as we see Rolleveld, Cootie, and the rest of the field following in behind him.
Joseph. We saw that yellow blur come out of the pit lane, and that was looking a little bit quick at first. Rolleveld going to come in, Cody coming. We got Joseph, we got Springer coming in, we got Fallon, we got Berger. There's Franks missing his hood. There's Martin. There's Carmichael. And it's a fuel-only stop for Rolleveld. I'd imagine a lot of these guys are going to do the same thing. The tires are good for probably 50 laps or so if they really want to push them that far. I doubt. Probably more like 40. But these guys pitting after just about 25 laps of green flag racing. A tandem right here for the race lead. Butcher Benjamin and Logan Hamilton for first and second. And Butcher Benjamin maybe pitting? No, it looked like he was thinking about it there out of turn 4. But pops back up in front of the 12, and they'll do so again.
Yeah, I'm actually shocked we haven't seen a lot more of this tandem type thing. You know, this is something you really saw a lot back in the, within the last 10 years or so in NASCAR, or 10 to 15 years. I kind of forgot what year it was for a second. You see Logan Hamilton go to the outside of Taylor Butcher Benjamin. He's being pushed by Stefan Purcell.
And Purcell, a lap car, considering he's already made his pit stop. Benjamin now looking like he might pit. He's very slow on the bottom side. And TBB is going to come on in. It's going to leave Logan Hamilton, and that's... Anthony Masadi, the other car that is not pitted yet. I was going to say, I think that's about it. But no, Anthony Masadi yet to come down the pit lane. I wonder if these guys can somehow stretch it out. It would be a big power move from anybody who could, but I don't think it's going to happen. And Logan Hamilton just going to have to... I'd imagine here up at a turn 4, we'll have to lean over, go ahead and pit, and fall into this strategy. It's really going to hurt him in terms of getting stage points, and I think if you're a Logan Hamilton, if you're not quite up in the top 5, you've got to maximize your stage point output early in this season. So I'm not sure I like this strategy, trying to play the long game. I mean, if it works out, it ends up working out if you catch the yellow, but obviously these guys are not, and Anthony Masadi going to come in with them. And this is just going to help those guys that were up front, including Joseph, Derek Rolleveld, and Andrew Cootie, all down the front backstretch right now, rather. And I mean, these will be your race leaders.
Yeah, they seem to play that out very well. I didn't think trying to stretch that out was the way to go, and as you see, they didn't think it was the way to go either. They just tried to, I guess, maximize, maybe try to get some extra points by trying to lead some laps, but Nonetheless, pit cycles are through now. Derek Rolleveld cycles himself into the lead. Andrew Cootie back up into second now.
We'll be coming around to 3 laps to go in stage 1. Next time by. Down the backstretch, they're passing. Oh, who is that? That is Frank Flores on the top side, playing nicely, letting these guys go on by. We're on board with Joseph. And he's just sitting in behind Andrew Cootie right now, maybe looking to the inside. Cootie not a very good corner through 3 and 4. These guys all, I think, fuel only. The first 2 tire stop may have been Merrick Watchhorn, who is sitting back here down the front stretch. He's a little further back, but you know what? Those tires could come in handy if he did, in fact, take 2, and I think he did. We'll have to wait and see exactly how it all works out. But his pit stop was just slightly longer, so unless he had damage to repair. But, oh my, Andrew Cootie, the 9 down to the inside of the 99. And this is the best run we've seen out of Rolleveld, but now 3 wide. They've got a lap car up ahead, and Joseph does a smart thing, pulls back in behind Rolleveld, and Cootie going to lose that spot on the inside.
Yeah, definitely smart for Joseph to pull out of that there. We're going to see if he can get a run out of turn 3 and 4. Looks like that didn't help him, as being side by side with that lap car really hurt his momentum.
That's 2 to go across the stripe, and Merrick Watchhorn is here. He's got Grant Peterson a few seconds back as well. This is the view for Merrick Watchhorn's machine, the number 91. He started, let's actually pull this graphic up, because he started 23rd. He's in 4th position now, and he is going for possibly a second stage win already. We've got 1.5 laps of stage 1, or stage 2 racing rather, to go. Cootie now back into second place, solidly over Joseph, but anything can still happen. Coming to the white flag on the stage, and it's Rolleveld leading.
Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked if we see Joseph try to push Andrew down the back straightaway and then try to make a run to the inside here, going into, or not here, but going down into turn number 3 to try and maximize some stage points. But looks like he's going to back off a little bit, trying to get that run down the back straightaway, but I don't think they have anything for Rolleveld.
Watchhorn's not that far back. You see all 4 cars here battling for these top 4 stage positions. Roy Grande currently the last car in the stage point-paying positions. And it looks like Rolleveld is going to sail cleanly away to a stage number 2, win the battle for second place. Maybe going to tighten up, not so fast. It's going to be Derek Rolleveld winning stage number 1. Andrew Cootie going to take second place. Then it's Joseph, Merrick Watchhorn, Grant Peterson will come in pretty nicely. And I think back here, we don't have a caution yet. There it is now. And everybody pretty solidly in their stage positions. So you see the top 10, Rolleveld, Cootie, Joseph, Watchhorn, Peterson, Berger, McGill, Uphold, Martin, and Grande. Your top 10 here in stage number 2, going to take some points away from this one.
Yeah, really good bounce back for Andrew Cootie. We saw he was up front battling earlier, got caught up in that incident, had to take his fast repair after that hard hit to the inside wall. And here he is finishing P2 in stage 2, so definitely good for him, and maybe he can turn things around for his night and maybe get a good finish at the end of this thing.
So there you see stage 2 winner, Derek Rolleveld, and keep the top 10 up on your screen. These are the guys that are getting points out of this one. Derek Rolleveld, of course, will get 10, then 9 for Cootie, 8 for Joseph, 7 for Watchhorn, and on down the list until you get just 1 point for Roy Grande. So if you're new to how the stage system works, well, there you go. And you do get 1 playoff point usually. I'm actually a little bit cloudy on if they still apply that here in the L-TAC Cup Series, but in NASCAR at least, you get the 1 playoff point, which just helps your seeding in the playoffs later in the season if you win a stage. But realistically, you get 10 championship paying points for winning each stage. The only caveat to that usually is that stage points don't usually count in the championship for race in NASCAR. So they say championship paying points, but not quite. But it still puts you closer to winning said championship until that final race. Coming down for pit stops here to end stage number 2 and begin stage number 3. Rolleveld, your race leader, and everybody going to come in.
Yeah, everybody going to come down for service. I'd be shocked if not everybody takes tires because, they did have a little bit of a decent run there, but I know some guys took 4 tires that last time down pit road, but I suspect everybody's going to come in for some fresh rubber.
just taking different onboards of these cars coming out of their pit boxes. I think Rolleveld had to adjust in his. It's going to hurt him on exit of the pits. Here comes Logan Hamilton right in behind Jack B. Ryan. And the first out of the pit lane, that's Roy Grande. Is that a two-tire stop possibly for the number 18? He's the first one out of the pit lane. Based on the timing, that may have even been fuel only. I wonder if he maybe took tires the time before, takes fuel here to get the track position. That could be a big move out of the 18, but we'll have to wait and see, and we'll actually be talking to Derek Rolleveld here momentarily.
Yeah, I think Roy Grande may have taken tires on the last one. I don't know if he took 4 or 2, because we saw he had a pretty decent pit stop, because he came out with all the guys that he came in with that group. So if he didn't take tires, then a really big power move for the 18. You know, we haven't really seen him up front a lot, and now he's going to be leading this thing, so maybe he can capitalize on some points.
We're not going to be able to get a hold of Derek Rolleveld. I forgot the AOD guys. They have their own team speak. They chill in for these races. So we'll actually bring in none other than Joseph, who's going to be the second out of the pit lane, and we'll talk with him about some pit strategy, considering he gets himself out first, and that's going to put himself into fourth for this restart. And Joseph looking pretty good in that first outing in the new yellow and blue number 20. How you doing?
Feeling good. We got track position the whole time, and we're looking to stay up front and hopefully win the race. I know we had struggles finishing before, but I think we got it this time.
Well, a couple of pretty solid stages, I'd say. You had to fight through some incidents there in stage 1, but a very clean stage number 2. How did things shape up for you here in stage 3?
Yeah, I was just trying to keep the car clean continuously, and just trying to keep it up front. And if you just stay up front, I think you could have a shot. It helps saving tires, and dirty air is actually difficult to deal with. So being up front is going to be very important. Track position is going to be important, and we're going to be looking for the win.
So we know you'll have to pit here in this third stage if it goes green. If you're out there like you are, when do you come in? Do you try and short fuel? Do you try and get it exact, or do you just put all the fuel you can in there in case you get a green-white checkered?
I think I'm just going to be splitting it in half, 20-20. So, yeah, just full fuel.
Well, there you go. So, actually, I think we've still got one more lap of caution here. It's been a very interesting road. You've got a lot of good guys that are lining up behind you. How did you come out of the pit lane the first to take 4 tires, it looks like, considering, Roy Grande was ahead of you, but I don't think he took any tires at all. This could be really good for you, the first car here on tires for this restart.
Yeah, I just been really aggressive on pit road. Even on the green flag stop, I gained a bunch of time getting in front of Watchman, which was very valuable. So, yeah, I'm just going to be aggressive on pit road, try and gain as much time as possible, because track position is important.
Absolutely. Well, Joseph, best of luck to you out there. Hope we're talking to you a whole lot later on, and it's not just because we got Pit Stop TV colors on there. Who else you had to thank, though, and who do you have to shout out this evening?
Got to shout out, my boys in the call. We've been trolling around a bit and, talking to each other, talking strategy and stuff, so they've been helping out a ton.
All right, so there you hear it from the driver of the number 20, Joseph, lining up in the third position here on this restart. Best of luck to you.
Thank you.
And, boy, that is a good-looking number 20, if I do say so myself. You can see the Tucson Sound Art logo on the side there. We got Whiplash Media on there. We've got Raise Pace Setups on there. The whole shebang on that number 20 Chevrolet ZL1 1LE. Very happy to have Joseph out there sporting the brand. And it's not just because he's got those logos on there that we're talking to him here. He was, amazingly, the first one out on 4 tires. So passes up a few cars in the pit lane. That's pretty big. And it's really going to change up the way this stage starts off, because Watchorn's got to fight back from a couple of spots. Cootie as well. You see the rest of the field lining up, getting ready to go back green flag racing. We're coming to lap 66. I think we lost a lap in there under caution, trying to get up to the pace car. Masadi, the race leader, stays out under that yellow flag. Roy Grande, fuel only. The rest of them have tires. Green flag racing, it's lap 65, coming to 66.
Masadi able to get a really good jump on the restart there. That's going to help Joseph be able to to utilize his fresh tires to try and get a run on Musati, maybe down the back straightaway going into turn number 3. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a change for the lead before the start-finish line.
Joseph already bringing the heat to the 49 car down the backstretch. Side by side, they'll go off into the corner. The 20 car looking for P1. He's going to try and take it away into turn 3, and the car just sticks down there on those new Goodyear Eagles. He's going to take that spot away nice and easily, but the battle's on behind. 3 wide out of turn 4. Cootie in behind Grande. Fisher in the middle. Watchhorn down on the bottom side all the way on the apron, and it's not over for the race lead either. Musati with a big run down the front stretch.
I was honestly really shocked to see Musati actually be able to surge by him like that, but if you really think about it, his tires are only 6 laps older, so he only got a little bit of a run on him, so they're not too worn yet, so Musati might be able to put up a fight for Joseph and allow the rest of the field to be able to catch back up to him so they don't pull away.
Yeah, remember, he's only got a couple of green flag laps on these tires more than the rest of these guys. He's even got a little bit more heat in those tires to start the race, or start the stage off. So, really, not a bad situation if you're Anthony Musati. You know you've still got a pit. I don't think it's going to hurt him to be a little bit lighter on fuel to start this thing out. He's actually, I think, got an edge because of that. The tires are broken in just a little bit. They're scuffed, if you will. They've got some temperature already, and he's technically driving a lighter race car right now with a little bit less fuel than these guys. So, Musati might actually hold it up here for a few laps more than we thought. And here comes Watchhorn, though, with the help of Andrew Cootie down to the bottom side. And Grant Peterson up almost to the top 5 once more.
Jeremy Berger also up into the mix on board with Grant Peterson, that 52 machine, last week's winner. Absolutely dominant last week at Milwaukee. Sitting here, slots himself into P4, I believe. No, P5 at the line there, excuse me. But a really good view for the race lead right now. Just seeing these guys single file, kind of, maybe going 3 wide down the back straightaway here. We're going to see if Andrew Cootie tries to go to the bottom. Looks like he thought better that he's just going to push that 91 machine.
A change for the race lead as Watchhorn noses ahead. He should take it here in 3 and 4, ever so close in turn 3. That puts Musati back on his heels. Oh, maybe more. Man, they get so close out of turn 4 every single time. Turn 2 as well. Cootie in the mix of things. He's going to go from the basement to the attic. He gets blocked up top. Musati says, nope, I'll take that push, though. Thank you very much. And Joseph now looks to the inside, slides up almost in the Berger. But the battle still side by side here for positions 1 and 2. And oh my, these guys just are not letting this one go to rest.
Musati, that was a really good move to go up to block that run, because we've seen Andrew Cootie do that at least once or twice. 3 wide going into turn number 3. Still 3 wide. Looks like Merrick Watchhorn's going to get the better end of that, because he was just able to drive on by those guys like it was absolutely nothing.
And here comes Jeremy Berger. We haven't talked much about him, but when we have the opportunity to do so, we like to do so. Jeremy ran an interesting end to last season, and it's really good to see him pick up from season 01. And it was strong, but every once in a while he would kind of falter a little bit. But he's really got a lot of strength so far this season. You see Watchhorn blocking a little bit, making sure Musati can't go high, can't go low. Musati, he got up to the back end of that 91. He wants to get by, but it's so hard sometimes when Watchhorn just stays a little bit off that backstretch wall and blocks both the top and the immediate lower line. It's really smart, but it's a great way to maybe upset the driver trying to get on by, because you can't quite fit that car outside. But if you go down low, it's going to be too far down low, and it gives Watchhorn a head start on the block.
Yeah, just definitely him going up to that outside wall. I mean, that's where you want to be. You want to get up right up against that wall, because that's where you get the most speed. You got, you're blocking the potential clean air that they can get anywhere. You're going to see that, that little bit of a bump going into turn 3. 3 wide back there for P2.
That was a great shot of the nose end of Musati's car. He's going to fall back a little bit. He's got a little bit older tires. I don't think that's really hurting him, but maybe just trying to get out of that mess. And he actually gets him further into it. 3 wide with Berger and Joseph. And Berger's leaning on him a little bit into the corner, trying to take a lower line. They get it sorted out. Musati keeps lifting. Now Rolleveld to his inside. Rolleveld had that issue on his pit stop and didn't quite get in the box the first time. That's hurting him so far, but he's getting right back into this battle. Close to the top 5. Not quite there yet. In fact, he's 6th now as Musati goes back on by.
If there's anything we've learned about Derek Rolleveld, he's not only a road course ringer, but this man knows how to drive these stock cars. He knows how to get around an oval very well. You know, despite that issue we saw on pit road, he's able to capitalize and got himself almost back into the top 5 with almost 25 to go. So he's in a pretty good spot right now.
When he knows to head to 5th across the line there, now side by side again for the race lead, Cootie. This time to the top side of Masadi, right down in his right rear. You see how close they get down through turn number 2, and still ever so close down the back stretch. You see a little more space now down the back straightaway. And I think Cootie, yes, he's going to nose ahead into that race lead momentarily, but is he going to hold it on the top side of 3 and 4? Only time will tell. Watch run up the racetrack a little bit, crowding him towards the wall, but Cootie's still there to drag race to the line to lead lap 74.
I'm Andrew Cootie, definitely going through turn 1 and 2. He might be having some flashbacks from when him and Jack B. Ryan had that contact coming out of turn number 2. But luckily, Watchhorn wasn't able to wash out in front of him. You're going to see almost some contact right under the back bumper. He's going to push him down the back straightaway.
Right on the back end of Watchhorn. Now he finally goes low. Cootie making the move for the race lead, possibly. We'll see if it sticks. Joseph battling with Berger for the back. No, Cootie backs back out, realizes it wasn't quite going to stick like he wanted it to. Rolleveld now to the outside of the 20 car, and they are just going to run the train up along the outside, choo-choo, and go on by, it looks like. But actually, Cootie backing up to this battle.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure if he just kind of upset the car, got a little bit tight, but definitely brought the guys behind him, so now they got a little bit of a pack going up, so that's going to allow Merrick Watchhorn to have a little bit of a breakaway on board with 52 Grant Peterson as he's falling behind that 99 AOD machine of Derek Rolleveld.
Joseph right in the middle of all this. You see the 9 up ahead of him, the 99 behind him. And, boy, you're seeing a lot of 9s on the screen right now because the 91 is leading, the 97's to his outside. Whole lot of 9s in and around this top 5. The 49 isn't so far back. It's lap 77, though. When it gets to lap 79, he might start to trip out a little bit. But Rolleveld, man, really close to the left side of Joseph. Berger up there, 3 wide. It's so hard to get a run on anybody in this situation. Usually it goes away to the top side. Oh, Colin Stone! That was close as they try and go by the lap car, the 43 car of Stone. Thankfully, they keep going. No contact and no wreckage is the big part. And we are a little ways past, 3/4 of the way in. And we can take a look back at some of the race info. 5 cautions for 13 laps. 2 of those stage yellows, even though one of those stage yellows came out organically. It is nice to see 16 lead changes. They have mixed it up a lot this afternoon. And of course, want to remind everybody, these broadcasts on Pit Stop TV are brought to you by amazing people day in, day out. And one of those groups being Permanent Makeup and Cryo in Maine. You deserve the best care that money can buy. And also by Whiplash Media, the official graphic and camera provider of Pit Stop TV. We're getting closer and closer to 20 laps to go here. The 20 car, oddly enough, up in the front still, racing for 4th position. Well, he's in 4th position, wants to get back up into the top 3. And he's so close to getting a position back on Berger, but it is so tough to pass somebody here at Michigan. You get such a run and you're able to feed off of the draft up ahead of you that you can really defend, especially as long as you stay up top.
Yeah, the draft is definitely something that these drivers are using to their advantage. But looking at the lap count here, you know, we heard Joseph in his interview talking that he was going to split it 20 and 20. So how many people are going to do that? Because we're actually coming up on that 20 to go marks. We might see some pit stops coming up here soon.
Yeah, we expect to see them in a couple more laps. I'd say Joseph possibly this next time around, if not the lap after. And that seems like a reasonable way to go about it. I would say. Granted, it's a shorter run to start this thing out, so maybe you want to go a couple laps further and do the overcut as opposed to the undercut. That way you've got better tires at the end of this race. It's hard to say, and we'll see what these drivers choose to do, but I might opt for that one, actually. I might opt to overcut and go a little bit further. Just a couple laps past this halfway point in stage number 3, a 40-lap run, with those couple of laps taken under caution flag, rather, after the stage 2 yellow. This time by the pit stop or the pit lane, and I don't see anybody opting to come in. Do we see any takers? No. I mean, it's still a little bit early to do so. These tires have some life. We do see one further back there. And that is going to be, it looks like Roy Grande coming down the pit lane. We'll see if we can get a look at the 18. There it is. So Grande, the only taker that time by.
Yeah, I think just from what you were saying there, I think these guys are gonna, run a few more laps out just to compensate for the fact that they had a little extra laps under caution. Back on board with the 20 of Joseph. You see, he's kind of running a little bit low, but
plans
not
have changed.
looking like
Stays
he's
out.
gonna come in.
Plans have changed for the New Jersey driver. He stays out at least one more lap, and he might be trying to split out the laps that were left. And I think we had we came to green coming to 66, so that's 35 to the end. So realistically, you want to come in around 16 to go on the stage. That would be taking lap 85, thereabouts, right? Yeah, taking lap 85, starting lap 85 would be 16 to go, so maybe lap 84 or so we'll see these guys start to come in, which is only a couple of laps away still. I don't think we had any more takers. No, we did have a few more takers that time. Fisher, Uphold, McGill, one of the notable ones, Masadi as well, Peterson in the pit lane, but everybody up front staying out.
Yeah, it looks like most of the guys up front opting to stay out. I'm really anxious to see how these guys, Grant Peterson coming in for some service now, Holden McGill, also Anthony Musati, Stephen Purcell, Barrick Uphold as well. There's Roy Grande, who we saw come down the pit lane. So that's going to cycle him pretty good right now.
Lap 83 into turn 3, and I think we might be seeing Watchorn pit. He's down to the bottom side slow. He is pitting. Merrick Watchorn, the first of the race leaders to come down the pit lane, and it would be this next time by that we see these guys split this stage in half if they elect to do so. So Andrew Cootie still on the racetrack. Jeremy Berger with him. Joseph in that conversation. Derek Rolleveld as well. And there were a few extra takers in this group. But let's see. Watchorn, Ryan, Benjamin, Carmichael, and Vining, it looks like, opting to come in on lap 83 of 100. Really, it's just a matter of when these guys pit. I imagine, again, it should be this time by, but do those guys that just pitted or have already pitted get better laps, go faster here, and actually use the undercut to their advantage out of the pit lane? I think we'll see all of these guys, stay out a bit further. This is intriguing here from this top 5. Actually, no, that's Grant Peterson. He's already pitted.
Yeah, Grant Peterson he's trying to get his lap back there. Anthony Musati with the hot
That answers
time.
our question, I think. Musati goes purple.
Yeah, these new tires are definitely going to play dividends, and we're coming up 15 laps to go this time by. These guys are going to be driving the rubber off of these race cars, trying to be as aggressive as possible, trying to make up as much track time as possible. You see Cootie going down to the bottom of the track.
Yeah, he wants to pit right here. I was going to say, it's going to be tough to pit. Oh, Joseph, don't miss the pits. Don't speed. Oh, he might have just got it right there. How about that out of Joseph? That was close. I was going to say, it's going to be tough for those guys to pit with the lap cars that have just pitted coming up to the inside of them. We know Cootie pits before Joseph, so that's going to work out nicely after they almost had contact earlier on. Cootie into his box. We should see 4 go on. The right sides go up, and I'd imagine everybody's right sides and left sides should go up. Rolleveld stays out, and he's the, he's 1 of 4 to do so because Arnold's still on the racetrack. Here's Zach Arnold. Here's Robert Pattengale, who hasn't pitted just yet. And here's Sean Deal, who hasn't pitted just yet. So 4 cars staying out still, and Rolleveld's still on the racetrack. Now, if you're not up in the front, this could pay off, staying out, trying to catch a yellow. But in Rolleveld's situation, you're in the top 5 battle. This is only beating yourself if this doesn't work just right.
Yeah, for sure. As you see there, Rolleveld just passing Joseph, so that's going to put him a lap down. But Joseph on that fresh rubber going to be able to get by Rolleveld very easily.
Oh, man. I mean, this is race leader we're on board with, Derek Rolleveld, as Cootie came up the racetrack with a faster car that was inside. That was Jack B. Ryan, and now Rolleveld's going to come in. I'm still just not so sure about that decision to stretch it out because you're just running slower lap times, especially with a less consistent draft. I'm not so sure about it, but Zach Arnold going to follow suit, and I believe everybody will now have pitted. Sean Deal, Robert Pattengale, they came in the last time by, so here comes Arnold into his pit box, And, of course, all these guys going to take 4 tires and fuel to the end of this race. Merrick Watchorn then, of course, cycles into the race lead. And, oh boy, he's got a 2.5 seconds to Grant Peterson.
Yeah, looking back there, those guys are kind of closer to each other, so they're going to be able to use a little bit of a draft. I wouldn't be surprised to see those guys kind of tandem up to Merrick Watchorn, but if I'm Merrick Watchorn right now, that strategy worked out to a T right now, so we're going to see if that works out for him.
And this has really shaken up the entire picture of this race because Watchorn is out and clear by quite a distance right now. Again, over a second. No longer a 1.5 seconds. It's actually narrowing between Watchorn and Peterson. Then you got Holden McGill in third. Masadi not so far back for fourth. Curtis Martin. How about this guy into the top 5? He's 5th place. He's got Andrew Cootie catching from behind, but Curtis Martin playing the pit strategy to work himself even higher in this top 10. Andrew Cootie then 6th after staying out the extra lap. Jack B. Ryan 7th. That is Joseph Joseph. I had to think about that for some reason. Joseph in 8th place after this pit cycle. And Jeremy Berger in 10th. And Taylor Butcher Benjamin, he's been very quiet this evening in 10th with Roy Grande close behind. And I mean, really, this entire top 10 actually very spread out. This is what we're used to seeing in past years here from Michigan, but not so recently. We're used to seeing pack racing and not as many green flag pit stops, but you see how spread out everybody is here amongst the front runners.
Yeah, he's actually got that gap up about another 0.3, so he's getting ever so slightly closer to that 2.5 gap, that he had before, but you see it just kind of dwindles. He gains a little bit and loses a little bit. But Grant Peterson trying to get that help from Holden McGill, he's got over a second back to him.
Cootie on Masadi, this is for 4th. And, boy, they passed Curtis Martin quickly. He must have... Oh, you know what? I don't think Curtis Martin took tires. No, he only had a 9-second pit stop. He may have only taken 2 tires in that stop, and I'm not sure I like that move. I was praising him at first. If a caution had come out, it might have helped him, but not so much once these guys get green flag racing. Cootie actually now by McGill as well, and they're fighting off into 1. This is for 3rd.
Yeah, he needs to get by Holden McGill as soon as possible so he can have, as much clean air as possible, nothing hindering his performance of that race car. He's been quick all night. We've seen he's been able to do it. He might be able to get up there to Grant, maybe push him to get up to that 91.
Well, Grant Peterson is doing everything he can right now, and he's just barely too far back from sniffing that draft. I mean, you really want to be inside of a second. It's getting closer and closer, and Peterson has a lap older tires than Watchorn, so this is going to be tough. I think the 3-lap difference here for Cootie to Watchorn might help Cootie go up there and get him, but it's going to be maybe too little too late. I mean, a second is really hard to overcome when you're running a single car like this. Maybe if Cootie and Peterson start racing, start sharing the draft, they can go catch him, but with time ticking away, I mean, they're coming to 8 to go this time. It's going to be close.
You see, he's only got 0.2 to Grant Peterson now looking at the ticker on the side, so he might be able to get there, and using the tandem down the front and back stretch, they might be able to get to that 91. It's going to be close. Yeah, Andrew Cootie driving the wheels off of that thing almost a 0.5 second now to Merrick Watchorn. He's going to have a heck of a push or a heck of a draft coming down the back straightaway here. You're just going to see that that gap just dwindle down even smaller and smaller going into 3 and down the front straightaway all the way down to 0.5 second now.
Coming to 6 to go, the gap narrowing some more down to a 0.5 second. This race, dare I say, not over. Andrew Cootie just inching closer and closer, and Watchorn is watching from up ahead, knowing there's nothing he can do everything kind of spreading out amongst the top 4, aside from this possible battle for the race lead. Actually, no, Joseph now fighting for 3rd. Let's take a look at this. He has overtaken Grant Peterson, and boy, that's what I guess 4-lap new tires will do for you. So Joseph right on by the driver of the 52 who won last week out in Milwaukee, staying up north, and he's had a good run today, but not quite race winning. Rolleveld, the big move down to the bottom side, and he is going for 6th. It's all going to sort back the way it was. Imagine that. The cream rises back to the top, but it's just going to be too little too late if you're Derek Rolleveld to get back up there and fight for anything better than maybe 5th place. I'm not so sure he gets even to Peterson. Meanwhile, here we go. Battle for the race lead.
Hey, you want to talk about the cream rising to the top, back to the top of the board here, side by side on a turn number 2. Andrew Cootie using that top sign. We've seen him do it all night long. He's going to use that to his advantage. Lap fresher tires. Joseph into the mix here. Andrew Cootie better hope that he did not.
It's under a second here for Joseph. Merrick Watchorn gets the lead back from Andrew Cootie. Joseph just inching closer and closer. There it is, across the line, nose to tail. Now 4 laps to go across the stripe, side by side once more.
Yeah, Joseph getting closer and closer here. You see he's almost got that gap down to a half a second. So he's going to be able to use that draft here. Them racing side by side like that, being aggressive like that's going to help Joseph catch up. As you see, he's got a heck of a run coming into turn number 3. These guys racing really hard like that. They're going to be using up their tires, and if Joseph's just running how he is, he might be able to overtake them.
Merrick Watchorn still the race leader. Now 3 laps to go. We might even have a 4-car race because Peterson's inching closer and closer once more. Oh my, everything's spread out, and it's all coming right back to us. 2 3/4 of a lap to go. Watchorn on the bottom still. Cootie's still trying to find a way by on the top side. Can he do it this time down the backstretch? Side by side, drag race to turn 3. Cootie inches ahead.
Man, this is getting really, really intense. Whew. I'm up on the edge of my seat right now, coming to 2 to go. Joseph's definitely driving the wheels off of that thing. You know he's sitting on the edge of his seat right now. Look at that view. I mean, he's right there.
He can still steal this. I mean, he is on these guys at this point. And Peterson, and you know what? I might eat my words if Rolleveld gets here and starts fighting for a top 3 because he's not so far back now. Everything just coming back together. Thank Dale Jr.'s giant spoilers in the back of these cars. Side by side for the race lead once more. Andrew Cootie side by side with Merrick Watchorn into turn 3. Coming to the white flag. They're still going at it.
But the question is, will we make it to the white flag? We got to make it out of turns 3 and 4 first. Andrew Cootie's going to... I don't know if he's going to clear him quite yet. He looks like he's cleared him down the back straightaway, and we have the white flag.
White flag, final lap, final 2 miles for these drivers. 3 cars, nose to tail. Watchorn back down to the bottom. Cootie up the racetrack. Here comes Joseph. He turns him. No, he saves it. Merrick Watchorn keeps a hold on that race car. Side by side. Oh, does he turn him? Oh, that looked like that might have been an intentional turn almost. Merrick lets him get away, and now Andrew Cootie might drive through turns 3 and 4 solo to collect the race win. It's looking like he'll do exactly that. Up out of the final corner at Michigan, it's going to be Andrew Cootie winning race number 6 of the L-TAC Cup Series in 2021, and second place going to go to the number 20 of Joseph after a big bit of contact with Merrick Watchorn. Watchorn none too happy.
Yeah, I think that contact with Watchorn and then that little swipe we saw there going down the back straight.
Yeah, he's hitting it. Oh my gosh.
Plowed him into the back end, but I think that right there killed Joseph's run to be able to get to the 9 of Andrew Cootie. But what a run for Andrew Cootie tonight.
And you know what? I want to say that contact was started by Merrick Watchorn and Andrew Cootie going at it, and Watchorn had to check up, and it happened so quickly on the last lap. Sometimes you can't check up, but hey, you know what? These guys getting their frustrations out. Oh, Colin Stone, what are you doing?
That might have been some post-race shenanigans. I'm not quite sure, but or maybe Colin Stone and Joseph are good buddies, and maybe he's trying to stick up for him, but definitely not quite sure what went on there. But what I do know is that Andrew Cootie is burning it down on the front stretch.
That he is. Cootie very happy to get this one. And you know what? We busted this out at Atlanta. Let's try and do it again here. Trey Patton, Andrew Cootie going to win here at Michigan. This is cool to be able to do. This is something that obviously Fox and NBC have done in recent last couple of years here for the NASCAR Cup Series, most notably 2020. We get to bring it in here in 2021 here in iRacing, and just being able to take a nice look at the race car and kind of drone cam around the car is pretty cool. And we can get, going up and down is a little bit tough to do smoothly, but we can get real up close and personal here with Andrew Cootie's number 9 and take a look at it here in Victory Lane.
Yeah, honestly, just kind of looking at this, looks like a render scene for a diecast, so that's actually really, really good camera work there, Andrew. Whiplash Media providing some excellent stuff for us here.
And with all of that, we'll bid you not quite adieu, but we'll bid you a nice little break here. We'll listen to a message from Tucson Sound Art, Permanent Makeup in Cryo in Maine, as Cootie's motor expires here in the Victory Lane. We'll be right back to you with post-race interviews. They should be good ones with Joseph and Merrick Watchword especially. Don't go anywhere. You will want to hear this.
After months of quarantine, we're all interested in how we can become our best self. The team at Permanent Makeup and Cryo is here to help you get the flawless makeup look every day without the extra effort or time. When it comes to your appearance, you deserve the best care that money can buy.
Sound Art is a product that is a speaker and it's art. We combine it together and we call it Sound Art. What makes it so unique that any picture can be your speaker? Sound Art gives you the high quality sound without the ugly speaker. This isn't a picture with a speaker, the picture is the speaker. Just imagine your wedding picture uploaded onto a canvas and now it's speaking 10,000 tunes. I mean, it's a very cool concept. What we like so much about it that you can take anything that means something very special to you, upload it on the canvas, have it hanging up in your room, your balcony, wherever you want to put it, and now it's a speaker. I mean, how cool is that? It's something that we have that and no one has. No one has this product. It's just a great gift to give anybody. It's just a neat concept. Around here we say, art never sounded so good.
Welcome back to Michigan International Speedway. Oh my, we were treated to a heck of a race today. We'll just say that. Definitely a doozy. Really glad to have everybody along for the ride, and boy, if you've watched this far, you need to stick around. Be it Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, or Twitter, you need to stick around for these post-race interviews. We'll of course start things off with none other than race winner Andrew Cootie. We'll bring him right on in. And Mr. Cootie, we talked to you earlier on. I'm glad AC's up top. You collect the race win here today. How'd you do it?
Oh my God, I have no clue. Merrick, I was talking to him a few minutes ago, and he took 2 on the stop, on that last stop, coming with like 15 to go. So I waited a couple laps. I wanted to have fresher tires than him because I knew I could roll the middle, and I was able to roll the middle. So when I took that 4 tires and I saw the 4-second gap, and I was like, I feel like I can catch him. I just need it to go green. So it went green. I can't thank everyone in Discord enough. They were helping so much, and I was sweating coming to that checkered. If Joseph, shout out to Joseph in the 20. He got into the back of Merrick coming to I think it was turn 2 after the white, and if that didn't happen, I probably wouldn't have won this race. You'd be seeing Joseph in victory lane, but it was a heck of a race. I had this ever since the schedule came out. I had this race marked on my calendar because I knew I had a shot. Because I'm surprisingly good at Michigan, and I don't know why. But it was a hell of a race, and I can't thank everyone enough.
It's more than just a shot, considering you come out of here, and I mean, you were one of the strongest all day long. We saw the big moves at the start of the race. You worked the top side to go from about 11th position to racing for the lead in just a couple of corners, if not the better part of a lap. The 9 was strong all day long. When it came down to those pit stops, and you were way, way back, Merrick Watchhorn, what were you trying to do to get up to Grant Peterson and then get up to Merrick?
Well, I actually, for the funniest part, and I didn't know where my pit stall was on that first stop, and I slammed on my brakes.
Oh, we saw
yeah,
that.
I almost clipped, Joseph almost clipped me. That would have killed me already. But when we came down, all I wanted to do was make sure I didn't spin my tires. I didn't want to spin coming out of the corner. I didn't want to go up too high and get a black flag coming off the corner on the exit pit road. But once I saw the gap, I was like, man, I think I can get him. So in like 2 or 3 laps, the gap dropped down to 3, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna get him with a few laps left, and I did. And Merrick, he blocked a couple times down the back when he almost turned me a couple times. We've been back and forth racing for a couple months, and he's a hell of a racer. So when that happened, I was like, he's giving me a run for my money. And man, I'm going to Daytona this weekend, and this is a great way to start the weekend off. I am absolutely so happy, honestly. It's a hell of a racetrack, honestly.
Hey, any day that you get to do burnouts is a good one. Who do you have to thank? Who do you have to shout out this evening for a big win in race number 6?
Well, I mostly thank my team, John Fallon, Mason Thompson, and I gotta give a shout out. He's not my teammate, but I gotta give a shout out to Joseph. He definitely helped me through those final couple laps. If he didn't do some of the stuff he did, I probably wouldn't be sitting in victory lane. But yeah, I gotta look back at those replays. That corner when I went around the top, I gotta look back at that. I haven't gotten out of the car yet, so awesome. Honestly, awesome.
Well, big time congratulations here. We'll call you, I usually get called AC4 if we're kind of going by initials. We'll call you AC9 here then, with a big win.
Just call me Cootie. It's easy. It's my nickname, so just call me Cootie.
Well, hey, it all works out. Congratulations once more, and I'm sure we'll be talking to you a whole lot more this season. Next week we go to Gateway. Best of luck out there.
I sure hope so. Gateway is a good track. I'm going, guys.
And Andrew Cootie going to wrap up a big day here at Michigan. We'll drop him back down there. Boy, it's always a good feeling when you get to get your first win of the season, but now you got to go to work and keep it up. And boy, you set the bar pretty high for yourself. You got to keep hitting that bar and grabbing those race wins. Somebody who's really familiar, though, with second place and coming up just short of those race wins is Joseph. Joseph, I'll hand him down your way.
We got New Jersey's own Joseph up into the booth. Second place finish, man. I thought you were going to be able to get it. Talk us through that final lap.
Yeah, I was just trying to go as hard as possible. When they got side by side, that really helped me close the gap. because they can't get as straight as a run as they normally could. So I was able to close it down. But I slowly started closing down, and then the pressure started kicking in. I didn't want second again. It just happened. It's still a great points day, but it's not what I wanted. I probably could have done something different and maybe got a different result, but I threw everything out on the track and it didn't work out.
We saw a post race. There's a little extra contact between you and Merrick there. So, did you guys get that sorted out?
Yeah, we talked after. I mean, I would be mad too if I ran into someone. I mean, it was not my intention. He was on the very bottom, so he has to slow down extra hard, and I was just trying to go as hard as I could in the corner because it's the last lap, and I caught him way too fast, and I tried to go around him, but it was too late, and we got clipped, and that killed my momentum, so basically handed him the win. Andrew.
Yeah, Andrew had a massive shout out for you. He said if it wasn't for you doing that, he probably wouldn't be sitting in victory lane. I know I'm sitting here, I'm waiting on this 20 machine to get into victory lane, man. You've been so close so many times, and I thought you were going to get it done tonight. I was so confident. I didn't even want to give you the commentator's curse tonight, so I didn't even say you were my pick tonight, and we still fell up short, but you've definitely got a win coming soon. So what can we expect from you for another second place finish, carrying that momentum into Gateway next week?
I haven't ran there yet, but I think it's going to be like Milwaukee. It's like a same style, so I'm just gonna try and save tires and slowly work my way through the field unless I start on pole. But yeah, track position's good at short track, and just gonna try and work from there.
Before we let you go, we're gonna let you have the floor and make a shout out. So who makes it happen for you?
Shout out to you guys in the booth. Shout out to not really my teammate, but Andrew. We worked together a bunch throughout the race. John Fallon, Jeremy Berger, Colin Stone, all of them, Logan Hamilton. They're all helpful.
Well, hopefully we'll be talking to you next week, and maybe we'll find you in victory lane.
Yeah, hopefully. The win's coming soon.
Yes, sir, indeed. All right, we'll catch you next week, Joseph. You have a good night.
You too.
All right, guys, that's second place finisher Joseph. You saw a little bit there on that replay there, the contact with him and Merrick Watchhorn going into turn number 1. But with that, we're going to get the other side of the story there. We're going to turn it over to Andrew for an interview with Merrick Watchhorn.
I'm sure it's going to be a very hot Merrick Watchhorn. Merrick, it was a really good day for you. You got 49 laps led, just one shy of half of this race. We saw you come from 23rd up to the front end pretty quickly, and from about the back end of stage 1 onward, you were one of, if not the car to beat. First, how did you get through those couple of stages? I know obviously you got that stage 1 win, not quite the stage 2 win, and then just fighting through the pit strategy there in stage 3.
Yeah, no, the 91 Twiggy machine was definitely fast tonight. We were holding up pretty well, actually. The car was really likened to my driving style. I was able to get up to the front and hold it, and I realized once I can control the draft and control how the car goes through the track and whatnot, I could really determine who was going to be able to pass me or who wasn't going to be able to pass me. And that last one, I just took right sides. So I'm like, I think my left side would be fine. I wasn't expecting Andrew or even Joseph to show up with 4 tires and make up the run they did with the last couple laps we had. So clearly 4 tires is more important than just running 2 tires. And I learned the hard way, but I mean, it was still a hard fought battle. I wasn't gonna go out without swinging, and I held them off for a decent solid 5 laps at the very end there. But the tires kind of explain it to themselves by saying that I didn't have the car to be able to hold off those 2.
We just saw the contact again a couple of times. What's your opinion of what happened there in turns 1 and 2 on the white flag?
Joseph didn't lift, and he was going for the position. I mean, that's about it. He was coming in hot. He saw the 2 of us battling, so he thought he can, thread the needle in between the 2 of us because we were going low and high. Because I knew if I didn't put it down there and challenge Andrew. I was not going to be able to get him down on the backstretch. He just had so much speed. He was actually pulling on me, and he was catching me. So, I wasn't really expecting Joseph to be that close to us. I thought we had a little bit more time between the two of us. We were battling, but he was maybe a couple tenths behind us. I didn't think it was that close. So, it is what it is. It's racing, and just go next week and try it again.
Speaking of next week, we head down to Worldwide Technology Raceway at Gateway. It's one of the more unique tracks on the schedule for sure, much like we've had Milwaukee that's been unique, we've had Richmond that's been unique. It's another big one. You've got a wide sweeping banked turns 1 and 2, the very flat and narrow turns 3 and 4. How do you attack a place like Gateway?
Patience, honestly. The Cup cars have a lot more speed, and if you don't, I don't know how the setup's going to feel at that racetrack, but from the NIS and all the other tracks, down the front and the back, it bottoms out. So I'm hoping the setup kind of fixed that problem and solved a lot of issues. There's not a lot of banking in either of those turns. You have to kind of be on the brakes and use the gas to be able to set up the turn properly, and then you have to be nice to one another. And sometimes the outside's better if you know how to run there, but the inside's just as strong. Hopefully we can do what I did in Milwaukee before I had my wheel malfunction for the last half of the race when I came in second there at Milwaukee. So hopefully it's just one of those other races where I can get up front and show the talents of the 91 team and RCS.
Well, Merrick, another big run this evening. I expect a whole lot more of these high finishes throughout the rest of the season. Congrats on the top 3. Maybe not what you wanted, of course, but best of luck to you out there at Gateway and the rest of the season.
Thanks, man.
That's Merrick Watchorn, and you know what? I think that's a pretty good way to sum up everything after all that happened. It's tough sometimes when you're racing like that. You got to be in the throttle as much as you possibly can be, and it comes down to just the slightest of moments. And unfortunately, he gets into that little bit of contact with Joseph, or I guess Joseph gets into him. And hey, you know what? He's got all right to be a little bit annoyed after that one. You get hit out of a possibility to go and race for the race win, and unfortunately, the whole race changes. But hey, it all shapes up. These results are right here with Andrew Cootie up top, Joseph finishing second place, Merrick Watchorn there in third. We just talked to all 3 of them. In fact, oddly enough, those were the 3 drivers that we talked to earlier in the race, with Cootie early in stage 1, then Merrick Watchorn at the end of stage 1, and Joseph at the end of stage 2. So very interesting that we had 6 interviews, only talked to three different guys, but hey, it proves that those are the guys to watch week in, week out. Grant Peterson comes up in 4th. Eric Rolleveld makes up the top 5. Then Jeremy Berger in 6th. Holden McGill 7th. Anthony Masadi comes up in 8th. Jack B. Ryan in 9th. And Curtis Martin hangs on for a top 10.
Good run there for Curtis Martin and I after having a rough race last week. 11th, Taylor Butcher Benjamin, Zach Arnold in 12th. Dylan Breton after that little spin earlier on in the race finishes 13th. Logan Hamilton 14th. John Fallon 15th. Roy Grande 16th. Noah Carmichael rounds out 17th. Stefan Purcell in 18th. James Vining in 19th. And Barrick Uphold, saw him up front earlier on, rounds out our top 20.
Coming home in 21st, it's Daytona winner Kevin Franks. Not the night he wanted after that early contact where he got thrown for a big loop, one of those big back straightaway incidents. Brett Fisher comes home 22nd, a similar fate after racing up front earlier on. Sean Deal recovers to 23rd position. Richard Springer follows to 24th. Robert Pattengale hangs on for 25th, albeit 1 lap down. Then you get these guys that couldn't quite make it to the end of the race or just came back from a long set of repairs in the pit lane. Nate Brooker 26th, 17 laps down. Colin Stone 25th laps down. We saw him rolling at the end. Frank Flores there in 28th. Ryan Dingler 29th. Cody Meadows 70 laps down. That's huge for the driver of the 46, who was looking really, really good earlier on. And finishing up in last, 31st to 31, it's Ryder Schrauf, 71 laps down. And of course, these broadcasts always brought to you by some wonderful partners. Leading off, of course, with Tucson Sound Art, a big partner of the series as well. Tucson Sound Art is a wonderful group. I always talk about how I've got one of their devices up on my bedroom wall. It is fantastic. The sound quality is amazing. The image quality on the canvas is amazing. It holds a charge for a real long time. If you don't know what it is, well, your picture, your music, you choose the image you want, and they will custom create a beautiful framed high-quality canvas with a built-in Bluetooth speaker. Basically, you send a file their way, they will print that onto, again, a wonderful-looking canvas, the size of your choice as well. And they'll put that around their Sound Art device, and I mean, again, it is a quality product. It can be battery-powered, it can be you charge it up and let it go for a little while. And again, if you choose to go that route, oh boy, does it hold a charge for a long time. It is a quality product. You can grab one for yourself using promo code PitStopTV for 10% off of your purchase. Big shout outs every single time to Robert Pattengale and company there at Tucson Sound Art. Definitely one that we want to keep around for a long time coming. Ever wish you could have a race engineer on speed dial? Well, now you can, thanks to Race Pace, a driver development service and setup shop all in one. Work with Tyler, a real-world race engineer, to step up your game before your next race. Pick up pace with Race Pace. And again, can vouch for the quality here at Race Pace as well. Running one of their setups in the Daytona 24 this year, boy, it really helped us with Whiplash Racing. It really improved our performance, and it will do so the rest of 2021 in the iRacing special events. At least the road-going ones. It is a mostly road-going setup shop. You might be able to convince Tyler to get into some oval stuff, but I think for the most part, road setups, and more importantly, sports car stuff. I think that's where he really thrives. Tyler does some really good stuff over there. You should definitely check them out. The Discord invite down on the bottom side. You can type that into your browser with an HTTPS and colon in front of that, and that will take you right to the Discord server where you can grab your setups from Race Pace today. Of course, always a big shout out to Permanent Makeup and Cryo in Maine, making your appearance worth your money, because you truly deserve the best care that money can buy. At Permanent Makeup and Cryo in Maine, the owner, Ashley Boyer, is a certified micropigmentation specialist who provides professional, safe, and personalized services. You can contact Permanent Makeup and Cryo in Maine at permanentmakeupinmaine.com or call or text them at 207-358-8683. And if you're looking for the best solutions for your permanent makeup concerns, by all means, we recommend Permanent Makeup and Cryo in Maine, a long-standing partner here at Pit Stop TV. And again, the Boyers put in work day in, day out. They're there what seems like way too many hours. Ashley really puts in a ton of work there with her team, and they've got like locations in Auburn, Lewiston, and Harrison, Maine. I think they're working on some more as well through the state of Maine. Definitely, if you're looking in that market, check them out at Permanent Makeup and Cryo in Maine. As always, a massive thank you to the official graphic and camera provider of Pit Stop TV, Whiplash Media, making everything look nice when it comes to your screen at home. That said, Trey Patton, what a show we were treated to this evening. You see Andrew Cootie, the replay of him burning it down here at Michigan. What a show.
Oh yeah, these guys put on an absolute hell of a race tonight. Going into Michigan, going into tonight, I wasn't quite sure what to expect, because Michigan can, like tonight, have one of those really, really, really good races, and they can also be very boring. So I'm glad that these guys in the L-TAC Cup Series were able to provide us and the viewers watching a heck of a show to watch. Lots of action early on and throughout the race, and a thrilling finish to the end of it. These guys are really good, I've noticed, at putting on a show right at the end.
Yeah, it was a bit of a rough start, but once these guys found their groove, they stayed in it. And boy, that 9 car just put on a heck of a drive from the last pit stop to get up to Merrick Watchhorn to bring the fight right to him. And Joseph, it might not have looked like it for those first couple of laps, but certainly played into the end of this race quite heavily, just choosing where to go and who to help with the draft a little bit. And then, of course, well, you saw what happened in turns 1 and 2. Not the way that either of those guys wanted to end things out, but hey, it secures that win for Andrew Cootie and will move him closer to the playoffs. Again, not locked in, but closer to the playoffs towards season's end. That does conclude our coverage tonight, however, of the L-TAC Cup Series at Michigan International Speedway. We at Pit Stop TV thank you for tuning in and joining us for tonight's action, and we hope you enjoyed tonight's broadcast. Be sure to tune in again this weekend. We've got coverage of the 2021 Norctona Duels and Norctona 500 this Saturday, so tomorrow evening, and Sunday evening. Monday night, the BRP iRacing Series Big Blocks race at USA International Speedway in Florida, and the Pacific Challenge GT3 Series joins the BRP crew just a couple hours south at Sebring International. Tuesday and Wednesday bring us Opmo and Bluegrass action before L-TAC returns for race number 7 at Worldwide Technology Raceway at Gateway. That's going to be a ton of fun at the 1 1/4 speedway there, just the far side of Illinois from the St. Louis Arch. I very much look forward to Gateway anytime that we can go. It's been a while since we've had Gateway on the channel, but it is an exciting one every single time. Make sure to follow us on Facebook at www.facebook.com/pitstoptv, on Twitter at pitstoptv_, on Twitch at www.twitch.tv/pit_stop_tv, and on YouTube by going to www.youtube.com/c/pitstoptv1. For all of Pit Stop TV, Trey Patton with me virtually on the mic, Trey Shuttlesworth on our social media coverage. I'm Andrew Cardinale IV. Thank you, and we will see you next time.